game looming tomorrow. We'll get into all of that, of course. Looking forward to it. Jay, you were kind with the Kings last night, saying they, quote-unquote, came up short.
They did.
They got blown out last
night. They did.
That second quarter was atrocious.
It was. And let's get into it right now with leading off.
Love it.
Let's do it. It's time for Leading Off. Brought to you by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, where for over 60 years, their name means a great deal in Elk Grove Auto Mall and online at elkgrovedodge.com. Here's cut number 1.
Sixers get the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
You can hear it in Gary's voice. He certainly wasn't excited.
Disappointed G-man, we call it.
No question. That second quarter was 41 to 23 in the favor of the 76ers. I mean, Philly's a good team, bottom line. And this is a tough road trip for the Kings. That second quarter effort simply wasn't good enough.
No, and you tie it back with a couple things. One, the effort, and two, it was very clear when Domantas Sabonis went out with that third foul that this team, when they're playing opponents that are large up front, and Domas is in foul trouble, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they even brought up Kayte, right, from the G League to try and help out. And in 2 minutes, he picked up 3 fouls.
Yeah.
So that wasn't much of a help last night for Sacramento. And, of course, Philadelphia with Embiid, who is obviously an MVP candidate, maybe playing the best basketball of his career right now. Harden's getting back into form. You got Harris playing well. I mean, that's a good Philadelphia team that can contend in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, yeah.
But for the Kings, you're right, 1-3 on this road trip. Now you kind of feel like got to get one at least in Toronto tonight or Detroit Friday.
No, you have to. I would imagine, actually, we had spoken earlier about this road trip being 6 games. Ideally, you want to finish 3-3. Look, you got to win out the next 2. Toronto struggling right now. Detroit, you've beaten earlier in the season, but they gave you a run. I don't know. I really hope the Kings go 3-3. I think that will be a nice little finish to the road trip. Leave feeling good, getting back to G1C 500 in that standpoint. But right now, it's rough with a back-to-back tonight in Toronto.
Well, 3-3 would be fantastic. Anytime you go 500 on the road, I think that's a victory. The bigger concern right now, of course, is De'Aaron Fox with the Kings. He's back, able to play after missing the game on Sunday, of course. Just doesn't look himself still. Played 29 minutes, 13 points, 1 of 7 from distance, 5 of 15 overall. No explosiveness. And I'm starting to get a little concerned about that foot injury.
Yeah, the explosiveness is really the key when you think about that. And when you watch him play, that is the most glaring part of his game that is missing, which happens to also be the biggest part of his game, especially on the offensive end. I was happy when I saw that they were sitting him out the previous 2 games. I'm like, let him get right. You have a glutton of guards between Davion, Monk, and Davis that can fill in admirably. But I'm at the point now where it is, again, sit him until he's healthy. It's showing, putting him out there with the foot injury, it's not helping the team.
It hasn't been helpful. Now, we have to assume, obviously, they're not going to play Fox if he isn't, quote unquote, healthy, right? And there's a difference between pain tolerance and a true injury. And so I never want to speculate on any of that. But to your point, we can see what's going out on the floor. And this is not the De'Aaron Fox that we're accustomed to.
No, it is not, and they need to figure out what the plan is here. I don't think they can do that. Hey, rest a couple games, come in and play a couple games, because at that point now you're really affecting his rhythm as well. And it was obvious last night he was completely out of rhythm in that game.
Yeah, no, he did not have a good night, that's for sure. All right, speaking of injuries, of course, Deebo Samuel and the 49ers getting some good news on that front.
Yes.
Cut number 2.
I mean, there's 4 weeks left in the season. I think they told me 3-ish is our expectation, so right in that area.
3-ish.
That is the most Kyle Shanahan answer of all Kyle Shanahan answers.
But it is good news, because obviously when that injury first happened, it looked like it was season injury. Right. And then we found out maybe be back for playoffs, and now it looks like he may even be back for regular season.
Yeah, and anytime you see a guy get carted off the field, you're thinking worst case scenario. And it's interesting. We saw Jimmy G carted off the field. It was right then and there. He's out for the season. And then, of course, he gets re-diagnosed. It's not a Liz Frank. And, well, he could possibly return. And Deebo, I think this is the 3rd different report on that injury as far as how much time he's going to miss. We've thought he's going to be out for the rest of the season. Then the next report was, oh, well, he'll be back for the playoffs. And now Kyle Shanahan yesterday pouring water on all of that, but nice, warm, comfortable water. I think they're expecting him back for week 18.
It feels like that. It absolutely does. And of course, for the Niners to truly make a Super Bowl push, they're going to need Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, with the Jimmy Garoppolo injury and having Brock Purdy back there. I mean, I know Purdy is the talk of the town, so to speak, right now, and he deserves it. He's played really well in the 2 games that he's filled in for Jimmy Garoppolo, but a part of that is having all of those offensive weapons. And outside of Christian, it's hard to argue who's the bigger offensive weapon, Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel, but losing either one of those guys completely changes that dynamic on offense and takes away a huge weapon that's helped him look good.
For sure. And really for Purdy, I mean, how's he going to be?
Right.
With the oblique
Injury.
You know, what if he's not able to go tomorrow?
He practiced limited yesterday, so we'll see today, you know, with the game being tomorrow, getting that short turnaround on Thursday night. Number one, I'm expecting some sloppy football tomorrow, but to your point, if Brock Purdy can't go and it's the Josh Johnson show, oh boy, Sacramento Mountain Lions legend Josh Johnson.
I used to call the Sacramento Mountain Lions, so I'm used to Josh Johnson football. But boy, it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, well, Josh has been, I think this is what, his third or fourth,
37th year. I think
37th year, 14th stint with the 49ers.
This is how far back I go with Josh Johnson. I called games when he was at the University of San Diego when Jim Harbaugh was the coach at USD. So that's how far that train goes back. All right, let's get to the Giants. Of course, the huge news, Carlos Correa signing that monster contract with the Giants.
Cut number 3.
Correa bats. Swine and hit well into left center field. Might have a chance, and gone. A line drive, 2-run homer off the bat of Carlos Correa. And that is his first hit this year at Guaranteed Rate Field, and the fans are booing him.
Lots of boos. We'll see what happens. He won't get booed in San Francisco anymore. It'll be just like Barry Bonds in San Francisco.
Yes.
Carlos Correa.
Funny how a change of jersey changes your perspective as a fan, doesn't it?
That is absolutely true. So the Giants make the splash. They, of course, wanted Aaron Judge, so didn't get him, but they do get Correa, who is one of the bona fide all-stars in this league. Be interesting to see if he ends up playing shortstop or not.
Yeah, I've been having that internal debate. Obviously, on the free agent market, that's been a huge debate. Is he more, ready to play shortstop, or is he at the point where you need to move him to third base? He is a big shortstop.
Yes.
Like, he is a big dude. I think the Giants, speculating here, and we'll get more into this later.
Sure.
I think he's more of a replacement for Longoria at third, given that I'm sure when they re-signed Brandon Crawford.
Well, Crawford's the franchise, right?
Yeah.
And he's a pretty darn good shortstop on top of that.
When healthy.
True. That is true. And he has been suffering from that. And maybe Correa plays second base possibly too. All right, lots to talk about there. We've set the seed here. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Today it's the Scott Marsh Show with Jay Mars.
Hey now.
Or Jay Marsh Show with Scott Marsh.
Scott Marsh Show.
You're like, I don't have that ego.
You're in the big boy chair,
all
though.
Good. Coming up next, let's focus in more on the Kings and Sixers right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Sactown Sports 1140 is broadcasting live on YouTube.
To me, it's a must-watch.
Check out the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and the Cattles and Rami Show. Plus, get exclusive content. Search Sactown Sports 1140 on YouTube.
Carmichael Dave here, letting you know when the housing market shifts quickly like it has the last few months, having the right mortgage company on your side is crucial in this ever-changing market. We've got just that lender. It's my guy Shelby at United Wholesale Lending. And you can check them out at refinancewithshelby.com. They're fast, they're local, and competitive. Shelby's team, as I've told you for years, is well known in the real estate market from real estate agents, title companies, appraisal companies. United Wholesale Lending will even get your offer fully underwritten and approved upfront so you can compete with the cash offers. With the increase in inventory, the market has shifted from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Buyers now have the opportunity to shop for the home that's right for them instead of settling for what was available. You can always refi as soon as rates come down, or United Wholesale Lending has alternative loan options like a 2-1 buy down. RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRA number 01864354.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Unable to produce anything here, and Harder into the front court. Doubles now. A pass. Here comes Embiid from the opposite side, and he scores. The feed, I think, came from Tobias Harris. So the separation is now being extended.
Tough night for Sacramento and Philadelphia last night. Kings losing 123-103. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Scott Martian today, along with Jay Mars. Jay's always here, of course. You're used to listening to him. We'll take you until 9 o'clock. And for the 76ers, Embiid, 31 points. That's under his average for like the last 10 games. So the Kings held Embiid to 31.
I love your positive spin on that. Well done. They held Joel
Embiid. Said
Embiid.
the Kings, quote unquote, came up short.
Right.
So I'm trying to keep in line with your terminology here, Jay. Keeping up with you on this show. But still, Embiid was fantastic. Obviously, you mentioned the foul trouble early in that game. When Sabonis picked up those 2 early fouls, Keegan Murray got 2 early fouls. You knew it was kind of going to be a long night for the Kings.
Yeah, especially given that this team is so thin up front. And that, to me, is what's really been on display here in these last 2 losses, especially the way Julius Randle handled them in New York. And, I mean, he had a monster game, and that was through essentially
Lopez in Milwaukee.
Yeah, Lopez, Giannis, Middleton, that big front line took them out. And then last night, you have Harris, you have Embiid. Yang still is very good. I just look at this squad, Scott, and I just don't think when Domantas Sabonis leaves the floor, they're so exposed, especially right now with De'Aaron Fox not being at 100% health.
Yes.
And, you know, Domas gets a lot of flack for his defense, which I understand some of it, especially when he's playing against more athletic bigs. It's on display. But, you know, from a standpoint of a big body down there that on the defensive glass is going to rebound, he's the only one. He's the only guy. And when he's out of the lineup, I mean, it's already hard for this team to rebound the basketball, but it's just such a glaring hole once he's on the bench.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Although, you know, it's interesting. If you look at the box score, the Kings out-rebounded the 76ers last night, which is hard to believe, but they actually did 48-42. They had 13 offensive rebounds. Now, let's be honest, a lot of those came maybe where it didn't count.
Yeah.
But to your point, and this is the dilemma for the Kings, and this is part of the deal when you play with Domas, right? Because he really is a 5, but he's in a 4's body. And so we've seen, you know, the lack of use of another big man with Sabonis. You know, Rashawn Holmes isn't playing at all. Now, Alex Len wasn't available last night, but they go to Kayte to bring him up from Stockton. So the Kings are searching, and I don't know how you solve that dilemma, because part of what makes Sabonis great is that he at his size, plays so well at that 5 position at the high post. He's unique. He's a unicorn in this league, right? But it shows all the deficits that the Kings have too when you're playing elite teams, especially in the more physical Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and you know, Harrison Barnes grabbed 8 boards last night, but that I've really pointed out too throughout the year, him and Murray combined on the rebounds have not been very good. I mean, you see most nights Domas is getting more boards than those two combined by a fairly healthy margin. And I think either one of two things need to happen. Barnes and Murray need to get more involved on the glass, or something that I think a lot of fans are speculating on. And you're starting to see trade rumors pop up, and we'll talk more about those today coming up at 7:27. Is they got to add more size down there, because right now Murray and Barnes are getting killed on the rebounds. And then when you look at some of the other aspects, there's nights where the guards are out rebounding Murray and Barnes. I mean, it really, that front line and their lack of tenacity, for lack of a better word, to hit the boards, it is a glaring hole on this team.
And that's a great point too, because if Domas is truly playing 5 in a 4's body, you've got Barnes and Murray who are 3s playing in a 4's body. So it's all like off by one number, right? So yeah, the Kings do have to kind of figure that out a little bit, but maybe as importantly, I mean, and we're going to talk to Kevin Herter coming up here at 7 o'clock too, but the production hasn't been as good from outside right now. Herter's been struggling. Monk, even though he's been great overall this year, his shot hasn't been as good of late either, and that's hurting the Kings.
Yeah, you look at these 3-point numbers last night. Harrison Barnes, 1 of 6. Keegan, 1 of 4. Herter, 1 of 5. De'Aaron, 1 of 7. Davion, 0 of 2. Malik Monk, 1 of 5. Your best outside performance last night was Terrence Davis in 13 minutes, going 2 of 5. This team lives and dies by the 3 ball. I mean, that was a big emphasis of Mike Brown coming into the season. They were going to shoot a lot of 3s. And, you know, on paper and in the early part of the season, they definitely have the team that can make them. Do you attribute this more to just kind of you're in the middle of an Eastern Conference road trip and it gets really hard for shots to fall at this point, and they just kind of need to get back home, limp back in, hopefully, you know, 2-4, 3-3 from this road trip, and the friendly confines of the Golden One Center will help those shots fall?
And everything you have to average out over a course of a season.
Sure.
Right? Are the Kings as good as a team that's won 8 of 9 at Golden One Center? Probably not. Are they as bad as a team that's losing on the road? Probably not. There's a happy medium, right? And I think we're seeing maybe this is a 500 squad. I think that might be the bigger point of what's going on here. Mike Brown's a defensive coach, and obviously he wasn't happy in Milwaukee. They got the win in Cleveland. But to me, ultimately, this Kings team is still an offensive team. I mean, you look at the box score, you tell me the Kings are 10 of 42 from 3-point land. I'm pretty sure they lost that game.
Yes.
So, to me, for the Kings to be really successful, they have to be special offensively, and they just haven't been on this trip.
Yeah, and I think you hit a great point there when you point out 10 of 42. They're not going to win a lot of games. They're not going to win many games, especially against teams like Philadelphia, who are bona fide contenders in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Like, the Kings have gotten away with a few games this year where they haven't shot, particularly well from three and beat teams. But that usually comes against lesser competition, which is a good thing in a sense because – over the last several years, they would have lost those games.
True.
So that's a marked sign of improvement.
Absolutely. And again, it starts, we're talking about foundational things here. We have not been in the playoffs for 16 years. We know all of that, right? Starts with a winning record at home. Kings are 8-4 at home. That's great. They won 8 of 9. Fantastic. To become a good NBA team, you want to be 500 on the road. Until the last two games, they were 6-6, now 6-8. So I can live with that. And if they sneak one out tonight in Toronto and they get to Detroit, get 8-8, boy, we're feeling wonderful about this trip again. So, it's all perspective.
It is. And it is a long NBA season. And I think especially the fan base has such PTSD from this team, giving them, hope every once in a while. We've seen, especially over the last few seasons. And of course, just playing some of the worst basketball known to man when you're feeling really good about the team. However, I do feel this team is built differently, especially because a lot of those players are now veterans on this team. Some of those guys obviously, establish themselves in other markets, but the guys that have been here for a little bit, such as De'Aaron, he's a vet now. He can handle this. And I think that's the difference. Look at Phoenix right now, right? Phoenix is on a 5-game losing streak. Booker's hurt. They look like crap, but I don't think anyone thinks the sky is falling in Phoenix.
I don't. The only thing that's alarming to me about Phoenix is, again, how do you get blown out by over 40 points at home to a Celtics team? And then we saw what happened in the playoffs in Game 7 against the Mavs. I don't trust Phoenix at all. Like, no matter what they do, if they rattle off 15 straight in the regular season, that's not a team I'm going to trust deep into the playoffs.
Well, didn't they rattle off some insane streak last year? Was it 18 games?
Yeah, they were fantastic.
And then, everyone remembers the second round exit Game 7. And it's funny, since that series, Luka Doncic has absolutely owned that team.
Yes, I agree with that. I think he is the Michael Jordan MVP lead candidate right now.
Oh, for sure. Dallas, if you look at it, because that award is especially given to guys where you have to look at, man, how bad would this team be without player X? Combined, he has the statistics, but you take Luka Doncic off the Dallas Mavericks. It
might be a G League team.
Oh, it's a G League team that is looking to compete for Victor Wembanyama in those sweepstakes, not the playoffs.
No, that's true. And speaking of VPs, of course, Harden starting to play better. We know Embiid, second in the MVP voting, might get it this year. This is a very, very good Philadelphia team.
No, and you looked at how good they were last night. Let's not forget, they did all of that without Tyrese Maxey, who this season
12 games.
Yes, and he has emerged when healthy to be a star in this league. So you just look at how deep that team is. I thought that was quite the wake-up call for the fan base last night, because I know a lot of us are feeling good about the Kings, which we should.
Sure.
But also remember, there are teams that are much more elite than them right now.
No question. Got to keep it in perspective, and De'Aaron Fox has got to get healthy. All right, when we come back, we're going to focus our attention on the Giants. The Carlos Correa signing, 13 years, $350 million. Where is he going to play? What does it mean for the Giants? That and a lot more right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
He scores the triple. Kevin Herter from downtown.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Ooh, there's nothing worse than being cold and uncomfortable in your own home. Make sure you and your family are able to enjoy the holidays this winter. At American Energy Heat and Air, we want to make sure your furnace is running safely and efficiently during these cold months. For only $49, take advantage of the 30-point tune-up today. Proudly servicing the community since 1981, American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Book your tune-up today for only $49. Call 916-520-9990 or visit them at AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Year-end pricing is in effect on every vehicle on the lot. Hurry to Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During Happy Honda Days, take advantage of our best offers of the year on our best selection of the year. Drive a new 2022 Honda Accord and get low lease or finance rates when you come in today. Plus, get top dollar for your trade-in. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
NBAstore.com, the official online store of the NBA, and the world's largest selection of officially licensed NBA fan gear. With unique designs by Fanatics, Nike, and all the latest styles for every NBA team, plus one-of-a-kind products and authentic collectibles. Shop now and get today's special offer. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience.
Want a joyful and unforgettable experience this holiday season? Come help those in need and light the world through the giving machines. Now through January 2nd at the Galleria Mall in Roseville. Quickly and easily help local charities here in our community or global charities worldwide and make the Christmas season a little more meaningful for yourself and those who are in need. Feel the Christmas spirit and teach those you love that is more blessed to give than to receive. For more information, visit givingmachinessacramento.org.
Patriot Software provides American businesses with easy, cloud-based, premium accounting software and full-service payroll for up to 100 employees. Business owners love the simplicity, the price, and our U.S.-based support. And accountants love the powerful capabilities. Go to patriotsoftware.com. That's patriotsoftware.com.
With patriotsoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Today I'm at Elk Grove Dodge, where it looks like Vince Bloom, the big guy,
also known as Father Christmas.
Well, yeah, Vince, you are dressed like Santa, which means you must be giving out some sweet deals for the holidays.
There's nothing sweeter than saving money on trucks.
So I can expect some big savings on, say, new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns?
You read Santa's mind. Right now, during the Big Finish event at Elk Grove Dodge, save $12,000 off MSRP on new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s.
Vince, $12,000 off new 2022 Bighorn Crew Cabs?
That's right.
$12,000 is a lot of money, and you've got enough for all of Santa's helpers because, you know, we've been very good this year.
I sure do. I've got 15 of these new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, and they're all $12,000 off MSRP, starting at $42,520.
Now through January 3rd, save $12,000 on 15 new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s.
Only at Elk Grove Dodge, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovedodge.com.
Include $6,000 in 2022 Big Finish and California retail bonus and bonus cash. Sample VIN 455, 158, expires 1/3/23.
Do you take pride in your holiday gift purchases? Or are you someone who just wants to get the whole gift buying ordeal over with? Hi, Doug Christie here, and I'm both. I do like giving great gifts, but I don't have tons of time to do so. So if you're like me, listen closely. Plus, I'll even save you 20% during the holiday season. I'm talking about Good Feet Arch Supports. Surprise? You shouldn't be. At last count, roughly 80% of all adults suffer or will suffer from foot-related pain issues. These tend to be active people and people working on their feet, anywhere from 35 to 64. Sound like anyone on your gift list? And during the holidays, when you buy a Good Feet Arch Support gift certificate, the Good Feet store will add 20% to its value. That's a 20% bonus free. And remember, Good Feet Arch Supports come with a lifetime warranty. So you're giving a lifetime of unmatched comfort, balance, and support. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, and Modesto. Online, goodfeet.com.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men.
Sactown Sports Headlines.
With your Sactown Sports Headlines, I'm Jay Mars. It was an ugly night for the Kings in Philadelphia as they fell to the Sixers and lost their third of 4 games on the current Eastern Conference road trip.
Sixers get the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
The Kings got another efficient game from Domantas Sabonis, who scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting, chipping in 10 rebounds and 5 assists. The Kings look to get back on the winning track tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. Coverage begins with game night at 3 p.m. on Sactown Sports. The Giants finally landed their marquee free agent, agreeing to a 13-year, $350 million deal with shortstop Carlos Correa. The 27-year-old two-time All-Star batted .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBI last season with the Minnesota Twins. The $350 million exceeds the $341 million shortstop Francisco Lindor received from the New York Mets, and the $340 million for shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres. 49ers fans can breathe a sigh of relief as head coach Kyle Shanahan expects wideout Deebo Samuel back before the end of the regular season, saying he will be back in 3-ish weeks. Coming up today, Jiffy Lube presents the Kevin Herter Show at 7 a.m., followed by Kings Keller analyst Kayte Christensen at 8 from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The 94th most popular celebrity from Carmichael
How popular do you want to be?
meets a Celtics broadcasting legend.
Celtics are going to go for the win. Everybody here at Golden One Center on their feet.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Welcome back into the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Scott Marsh in today with Jay Mars. Jay, I don't know how you keep it all together with everything you've got going on the other side.
Very strategically.
Watching it in person, you're like, and this is an old reference, but I'm old, so it's okay. It's like Lucille Ball and the Chocolate Factory.
I'll take
trying
that,
to put
man.
everything in there.
I will take that.
You're doing a great job.
The Lucille Ball of Sacktown Sports is how I want to be addressed
That's the
from
next
now
promo
on.
I want to hear.
Yes.
Next to the 94th most popular person from Carmichael.
I think he actually got pushed down to 97th. We just haven't updated it.
I need to see the new poll. All right. Plenty of Kings coming your way today, of course. Kevin Herter at 7 o'clock, Kayte Christensen at 8. Let's break down the Carlos Correa signing right now, Jay, because as you said in your update, it was the longest, most dollars for the position in Major League history. 13 years, $350 million. The Giants are all in. They've put all the chips out there. Of course, the disappointment, they really wanted Aaron Judge. They thought he had him. Judge teased them, went back to New York. Correa obviously is one of the best shortstops in the game. And this is a significant signing, obviously, for the San Francisco Giants.
I think this is the signing that saved the GM tenure for one Farhan Saidi. Listen, and I'll give people a peek behind the curtain last night when we were going over, what we're going to talk about today. Yep. This segment was originally scheduled to be the Giants have swung and missed in free agency again, right?
Yes.
That they had their eyes set on all these stars and came up empty. Yep. And then 2 minutes after I sent you the rundown, the Correa news breaks, and I'm like, well, time to rethink this. If you're that front office, you're breathing a sigh of relief. I think this was an outstanding signing for the Giants. Importantly, one, they have a star, finally, and they've been lacking that since Posey retired.
Yep.
And more importantly, it makes the other signings, Scott, that they did now make more sense. The Mitch Haniger signing, now that's not your big bat that you signed, but he's a secondary signing. That's really good. I don't think the Mania signing is great, but I thought the Ross Stripling signing was really good.
Yep.
But none of that would have mattered if they didn't sign Correa.
Oh yeah, no, those are all secondary players, no question. What's interesting to me about this, and I don't think the comparison is 100%. It certainly isn't, because the caliber of players are a little less. But I feel like this is almost a situation in terms of when the Yankees signed Alex Rodriguez. And you've got Derek Jeter at short, because Brandon Crawford next to Buster Posey is the Giants franchise. I mean, he is still the guy who is thought of back to the glory days. He's still there. He's still a quality shortstop. He's not hitting like he used to. But to the point, does Correa come in? Is he the automatic shortstop? Like, what's the positioning look like? Obviously, you're better with having Correa there. I still think there might be a couple things they got to figure out.
Yeah, no, there is. And the big thing because you have Crawford, who was hurt last year, but did sign that extension.
Yep.
And you look at third base, Evan Longoria has just been in and out of that lineup now for multiple seasons.
That hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked. And, given his age, I cannot see a scenario where they bring back Evan Longoria. And I think Carlos Correa he's a big dude. I think he's too big to play shortstop. Mm-hmm. I think he is perfect for the hot corner. And then you also remember the Giants have Marco Luciano. he's their number one prospect in the minors. He's a shortstop. I think he's the heir apparent to Brandon Crawford, unless you can, move him over to second base. And then you got an offense of, I guess, Brandon Belt at first with Luciano and Crawford up the middle and Correa at third. If healthy and Luciano ends up being what,
that could be a pretty good lineup.
That can be a really good lineup,
Sure.
but there's still a lot of question marks there.
Well, and here's the other thing too, because shortstops just by nature have big egos because they're used to being the leader out there. I mean, the shortstop is considered the leader of the infield unit. If you try to move Carlos Correa, how is that going to affect him? Is he going to be just fine? Put me at third base. Fine, stick me at second for a season, maybe. I don't know the mindset of Carlos Correa and how that might affect him with the bat.
Yeah, no, the last thing you want is to sign a guy to 13 and 350.
He's got to be your guy.
Yeah, he's got to be happy. So to your point,
but Crawford is still the guy, right?
I mean, is he?
I don't know. I feel like for Giants fans, he is
for sure.
And not that matters per se, because once Correa comes in and settles in, all is forgotten. But I don't know. It's still an interesting mixture to me. And I think it's definitely a great signing for the Giants. There's no doubt about that. Having said that, I think they much rather have had a power hitter,
Oh, God.
along the lines. The Aaron Judge, the outfielder.
Yeah, in a compete now environment, Aaron Judge was the guy.
Yes.
And even I think they would have probably had at that point at shortstop, Trey Turner or Xander Bogaerts.
Sure.
But I mean, Correa is fantastic. And it's not like
sure.
he can't swing the bat. He's a very good hitter. But, looking at it now, when we put this lineup in perspective, at least, if you got a healthy Mitch Haniger, who, I mean, he only played 57 games last year, but he played 157 the year before, and he was fantastic for the Mariners. And that really gives you a lot of pop in the middle of that lineup, which that team lacked last year for long periods. And
but they got to figure out what's behind the plate.
They got to figure out what's behind the plate. Is Joey Bart your guy or not? I mean, that debate's been going on now for 2 seasons.
And the fact that it's been going on for 2 seasons tells you what the answer is, doesn't it?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of his make or break year.
Yeah.
But, you're likely to lose Rodon. I don't think Minaya and Stripling are going to make up for that, although Stripling's going to be really good for them next year.
I think he's a quality pitcher.
He is. And in a pitcher-friendly ballpark, I think that's going to really help him, as you know.
Heck, he almost pitched a no-hitter in that ballpark his first game
That's what
ever.
I'm saying. So he's clearly very comfortable there. But I look at the overall lineup. I look at the moves they make. The Giants, on paper, will be a much better team next year. But do you see them competing with the Dodgers or Padres?
Not at this point, no. I don't. I honestly feel like San Diego's the best lineup in the West right now.
Well, you look at the Dodgers losing Trey Turner. They haven't
Dodgers have done nothing.
The Dodgers have done nothing.
And they've had more to start with, of course.
But
I mean, they've been zeros so far.
Me and Dave were having this talk because he was really in on the idea of like, man, Cody Bellinger could be a quality signing at 1 year. I've been out on Cody Bellinger for a while now. I don't think the Dodgers lineup's going to lose much, but how are they going to replace Trey Turner's bat? And then Justin Turner isn't signed, so the entire left side of your infield is up for grabs right now. But I'm with you. I mean, the Padres, that lineup is so disgusting. Oh, hey, by the way,
Tatis coming
they're
back.
getting Fernando Tatis Jr. back next year. Given their pitching, are you looking at that division right now as the Padres 1, Dodgers 2, Giants 3?
I think going into it, the Padres have the best lineup. They still got to prove they can beat. I mean, they did prove they could beat them in the playoffs. They got to prove it in the regular season over 162 games. But to me, yes, I think the Padres are the favorite, barring something else that we haven't seen happening right now. And I still think the Giants are middle of the pack.
So it's interesting. They're middle of the pack because I agree with you. I still think the Giants are going to be much improved and they're going to be a solid 3 in that NL West, which, hey, given the expanded playoffs that you can get a 7 seed with that lineup. But moving forward with all of this money, I still think the biggest issue they have, and I'm surprised that, they spent so much time courting position players. You have a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and you won 3 World Series built on amazing starting pitching with some timely hitting. I have no idea why they weren't going after more big names. Like, why not? If you're trying to win now, why not give 2 years and big money to a guy like Justin Verlander?
I'm with you on that because that is a pitcher's ballpark for sure. And the one thing about Aaron Judge as well, I mean, he didn't want to come to San Francisco because he doesn't want to hit in that ballpark.
No.
Now, if you're Barry Bonds hitting out in Splash Waterville, right, out there in the Cove, different story. And we'll get into this later in the program, but Correa too, how great a shortstop is he really? You look at some of the metrics on him, and it doesn't rank high, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
He did win a Gold Glove in 21, but yeah, the metrics would suggest that that's an outlier season.
Which is interesting. We'll talk about that more. We've got to get moving. We want to get in some 49ers discussion here. Ross Tucker said he thought the 49ers were the second best team in the NFL right now. We'll go through our power rankings when we come back. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Get your 49ers fix every week with the Return of the Empire podcast, featuring Jay Mars and 49ers insider Emil Fragoso.
Let's go Niners! Yeah!
At SactownSports.com, your local sports leader.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's going on for Chrysler's Big Finish event?
We are finishing the year strong with $10,000 off MSRP on both the new 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs and Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Plus, no payments for 90 days. And when you come in, ask about our Hoblet exclusive 4.99% financing for 84 months.
Are you sure that's for both the Laramie and Bighorn?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And it gets even better. Right now, you can save up to $2,500 off MSRP on the all-new 2023 Wrangler Unlimited 4xe, both Rubicon and Sahara. But you better hurry because the $7,500 federal tax credit ends December 31st.
Well, hurry in before the savings is gone. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period. 10,000 total net savings after 5,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discount on Laramie and 6,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount on Bighorn. Rebates may include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualify and up to $1,500 in Hoblet Ram coupons only while supplies last. Special 4.99% financing for 84 months on approved credit through Travis Credit Union. Must have 760 plus FICO score to qualify. $1,415 per 1,000 borrowed. $2,500 total net savings on Wrangler after $1,000 factory rebates and $1,500 dealer discount. $7,500 income tax credit offered by third party subject to change without notice. 10 savings to dealer for details.
ATM Mortgage.
Hi, this is Jeff Tarbell with a very unique program for homeowners over 55 years old. How would you like to cut your house payment in half and maybe get some cash out too? Give ATM Mortgage a call. 916-338-9400, 338-9400, or online at atmmortgage.net.
ATM Mortgage.
License under California CFL and MLS 223-4889.
At Elk Grove Honda, we know that the past year has been challenging to find the Honda you're looking to drive home. But now, at Elk Grove Honda, new Hondas are arriving on a steady basis, including new Accords, Civics, CR-Vs, and more. And Elk Grove Honda's pre-owned inventory is as large as it's ever been. So give Elk Grove Honda a chance to show you the new or pre-owned Honda you're looking for. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard, or on the web at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
There is beauty and there's uncomfort in owning an older home. The craftsmanship back then, the way they were built, the character, all have their positives. Now, on the other side, older homes need some love and some tenderness, and in our case, some help. Jason Ross here to tell you about the help we're getting thanks to ACR Solar. Now, you hear solar, and you know what? Yes, they do solar, but after years and years of living at our house, the time has come to get a new roof. Our old roof has done its job, but it is done. It's tired, and it looks it. So after doing the proper research and talking with several roofing companies, we landed on ACR Solar. They stood out from the first visit when Joe, their roofing expert, came out and shared his knowledge. We knew at that moment we were at ease because we were in good hands. Also, after our conversations with John, the owner of ACR Solar, that just confirmed what my wife and I already knew, that ACR Solar was the right choice for us. So we're so excited to begin our journey with ACR Solar. We're going to have a beautiful new roof, become more energy efficient, and have the peace of mind we're looking for. ACR Solar, 916-481-2700, or you can visit them at acrsolar.com.
Love Makita Power Tools? If so, you don't want to miss out on this special event. Fasteners Tool Outlet is hosting a Makita one-day sale on Saturday, December 17th. Here you'll find tons of great deals on all new Makita products. Buy a select 40-volt kit and you'll receive up to 2 free 40-volt batteries. Stop by Fasteners Tool Outlet on December 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 6701 Power Inn Road. Again, that's Saturday, December 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 6701 Power Inn Road.
It's Kia's season of giving at Folsom Lake Kia right now. Give yourself the gift of a brand new Kia from Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted Kia dealership for over 20 years. FolsomLakeKia.com. That's FolsomLakeKia.com.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
The only local sports show in the morning.
On Sactown Sports 1140.
I have the Eagles one. I have the Niners two. I think the Niners are really good.
In the NFC, right?
No, in the league.
Oh.
In the league. I think right now, Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFL. I think the San Francisco 49ers are the second best team in the entire NFL.
All right, those are the thoughts of Ross Tucker as we come back in the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Scott Marsh in today, Jay Mars here as always. So Ross Tucker thinks, Jay, that the Niners are the second best team in the league, not just the conference, for Pete's sake. So he thinks they're better than the Chiefs, the Bills. I'm not buying that. I mean, the Niners, they have the best roster in football, and they may have the best defense in football, but I don't know how you can say that any team right now, despite how well Brock Purdy has played in a game and a half, can be the second best team in football. There's not enough sample size for Brock Purdy right now. We haven't seen him in a playoff game. We haven't seen him on the road. So I think that's an overstatement.
Listen, I'm a diehard 49ers fan. I'm very bullish on this team's ability to get to the Super Bowl, even with the idea that Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, will be their starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. I think the defense and the skill players that they've surrounded Purdy with are that good for that to be a thing. But to your point, I have to go off of what I've seen so far and the larger sample size. I'm sorry, there's no way that they're better than the Chiefs. There's no actual.
The Chiefs went into their house and blew them out.
And there's no actual argument I can make now. Again, given the small sample size of this 49ers team that added Christian McCaffrey and obviously, added Brock Purdy, for lack of a better term, I cannot make a case that they're better than Dallas. Dallas has been really good this season.
They have.
The only
Although
thing
last week,
last week was
garbage.
But listen,
they won,
and it's the NFL. Look, in a 17-game season, all that matters is that you win. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. But again, I cannot make a case right now that the Cowboys are better or the 49ers are better than the Cowboys. That team that's another team with an elite defense. Healthy Dak Prescott getting it going, and then I still think the Bills are better too.
I do too.
I cannot, again, Josh Allen playing hurt, that to me gives me some pause on the Bills, but this is a team that is going to be really good, and they're going to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, you've mentioned three teams who I would put ahead of the 49ers at this point in time, too. I mean, Dallas, okay, I could see maybe if we're looking down the road, they match up in the playoffs. Niners at home, maybe they're still a favorite, but if they're going to go into Dallas, I don't know about that.
No, I don't know about that either. I mean, last year they handled them pretty easily, but that was last year. Things changed. Dallas will have revenge on their mind if those two teams end up matching up in the playoffs. I appreciate Ross Tucker saying what he said. Of course, that audio was courtesy of 95.7 The Game in San Francisco. I just think that was a scorching hot take at the end when I really did all the math.
I think that one just blew up. The other team we're not talking about, but who I think is on the rise, and you got to think about, are the Bengals.
Oh, the Bengals right now look like a legit threat again to come out of the AFC.
With the legit quarterback.
No, he's super legit. They've won 5 straight games. A lot's been made about the Niners winning 6, but listen, the Bengals started slow, and I'm with you. I think Joe Burrow, if he's not the best quarterback in the league, he's in the top 5 at this point in only his 3rd season.
Yes.
He is amazing.
And at the end of the day, this is a quarterback's league, right? So Brock Purdy, maybe he's going to prove all of us even more, because what we've seen so far, we're I won't say amazed, but we're so impressed by what he's done, deservedly so. But again, it's 6-7 quarters of football. We don't know enough at this point.
No, and there's not a lot of tape on him. There will be more tape as the season goes on, which means teams will figure out his high points, his weak points. They'll be able to scheme defenses against him, especially come playoff team. When you come into a playoff, you're not going to be playing the Tampa Bays of the world and that sort of talent level, which is funny to say about a Tom Brady quarterback team. But anybody who's paid a little bit of attention to Tampa this year and then watched that game on Sunday, Tampa's atrocious. Yes, they have no chemistry on offense. That defense is razor thin. And I mean, you saw their offense is razor thin, given no continuity. And you saw the 49ers defense just run right through them.
No question. In the Bucs, I mean, they're 6-7, should be 4-9. I mean, they had the miracle comeback against the Rams. They had the miracle comeback against the Saints. They're a disaster right now.
No, they are. And so I think the big test, if we really want to kind of see where Brock Purdy's at and where this 49ers team is at, and it just sucks it's happening on Thursday Night Football, because that just tends to be bad football with only, 3 days to prep. But Seattle, it's because to me, they beat the Seahawks. I mean, the division's wrapped.
Oh, yeah, they've got it.
The division is over, and I think this will be a big moment for Purdy. If he can lead them over the Seahawks Thursday Night Football on prime time
against the 12th man up there in Seattle,
and clinch that division, so to speak, that will make me feel a lot better of the sample size of Brock Purdy moving forward.
I agree with you 100%. I'm really interested to see what happens tomorrow night, because Seattle's got their backs against the wall.
Yes.
Bad loss for them on Sunday at home. They've got to win this game tomorrow night.
Oh, no, this is a must win. Again, the division is over for them tomorrow if they cannot pull this off. But if the 49ers do win, again, they'll be without Debo. And by the way, we don't know if Brock Purdy's playing tomorrow.
That's true. With the oblique, he
was limited yesterday in practice. And
what in the world are the Niners going to do tomorrow?
Well, it's Josh Johnson.
Yes.
And then, I mean, literally, I don't know what you do as far as a backup quarterback is concerned. You'll have to, sign someone either off the practice squad or
might
off.
be McCaffrey for all we
know.
Well,
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, all right, let's do the math here. All right, Brock Purdy can't go. Josh Johnson is, again, the fill-in of all fill-ins. He's a guy that he's going to get you through 4 quarters, and it ain't going to be pretty, but he'll get you through 4 quarters. Who they bring in after that is beyond me. And the only people we've seen that can throw the football is Christian McCaffrey.
Exactly.
I mean, credit where credit's due. He got the ball downfield better than Jimmy Garoppolo has.
That's very true. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But to the overall point here, the Niners just aren't the second best team in the league right now.
No, they're not. They're probably the 3rd best team in the NFC. Is that a fair statement?
I think that's completely fair. And they could be on the rise based on what we see. But right now, again, the biggest point is it's a quarterback's league. And at any day of the week, you're not going to take a Brock Purdy over a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Dak Prescott, a Joe Burrows.
Most people would argue you're not taking him over Jimmy Garoppolo. Although small sample size.
I might make a different argument about
small sample size. Well, but seriously.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But when you look at the sample size and you look at some of the things he did on Sunday, the big one that stuck out to me was the touchdown pass to McCaffrey. It's over 20 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching that play and just how perfectly he lobbed that ball in for McCaffrey to catch it, who also made a great catch.
No doubt.
That's a throw Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make. He does not make that under pressure, number one, and he does not get the ball down 20-plus yards for a layup. That's not what he does.
Yep.
And that is definitely something, and Brock Purdy's not exactly known to have a gunslinger's arm.
Not at all.
But he can get the ball downfield better than Jimmy can, and that's pretty amazing.
No, and obviously, we're not watching practice every day. We're not down there, but from all accounts, this guy has been good all season long in the scout team work. So, and just because he's Mr. Irrelevant means nothing. We're familiar with that in Sacramento. A guy named Isaiah Thomas.
Heard of him.
Who was the last pick in the draft. Ended up being an okay basketball
player. 2-time All-Star. At one point was a top 5 MVP candidate.
Got hurt. I'm so sad.
Yeah, and you hear the 49ers, the big thing with Purdy, why he fell so far in the draft were 2 things. One, he just doesn't have a cannon on him. And number 2, he's not tall. Brock Purdy's 6'1". I mean, looking over a line can be a little daunting for a 6'1" guy, but he's clearly shown that he can overcome that.
If you can play, you can play.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk with Kevin Herter. Looking forward to this, getting his thoughts. The Kings a big game tonight in Toronto to take on the Raptors, trying to avoid back-to-back losses. We'll get into it with the guard for the Kings when we come back. This is the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, Kings fans, you got questions? We got answers. Send all your Kings questions to kingsmailbag@sactownsports.com and have them answered by the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and Cattles and Rami during our Kings Mailbag segment every Friday on Sactown Sports' YouTube channel. Subscribe today by searching Sactown Sports on YouTube. The only place to get wall-to-wall Kings coverage in the 916, Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Byers Leaf Guard Gutter System and Roofing.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're off to a chilly start again for your Wednesday. Plan to see some areas of patchy fog and some frost for the morning start. Into the afternoon, mainly sunny skies. Great day to be outdoors. Highs in the low 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Holiday lights are hassle-free with Byers Leaf Guard Gutter Systems. The only one-piece seamless gutter guaranteed to be clog-free. Save up to $700 off installation labor. Visit that'sbyers.com for details.
That's Byers.
Hey, it's Nick Cattles, and you should start your holidays right with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from California Backyard. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill is turning me into a pro. Think outside the kitchen this year and cook your entire holiday meal on a Napoleon gas grill. Napoleon, their grills are built to last. I'll tell you right now, all made with premium steel that boasts quality. Check out Napoleon Grills today at any of the 4 nearby California Backyard locations. They're always the best in backyard living. Check them out at Napoleon.com.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, curbside pickup, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at HagenOaks.com.
At Folsom Lake Honda, in addition to great prices on new Hondas, we stock the best selection of quality pre-owned vehicles, and each one of those vehicles is priced to sell now.
With new cars in high demand, Folsom Lake Honda has a great selection of quality one-owner trades with low miles, and each is priced to sell now. Every used vehicle on the lot comes with a Carfax vehicle history report and has passed a safety inspection. Shop our entire selection at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7 with supplies and solutions for every industry and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My mother owned Christmas. Well, not in a literal sense, of course, but she had an extraordinary way of making sure the holiday was perfect for her family. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa for Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'll never forget my daughter's first Christmas when every present out of the tree was for my mother's first granddaughter, while the rest of us had to look in the spare bedroom for our gifts. Now, those memories always bring a smile to my face. My mother always taught, have a bit of Christmas in my home every day of the year. That could be a tiny happy Santa bauble, a sparkling memento on the wall, or a comfortable rocking chair. Naturewood Home Furnishings will help you find the perfect accent piece for every room in your home during their annual holiday sale, including unique mirrors, clocks, wall art, rugs, chairside tables, curios, accent chairs, recliners, lamps, and more. You'll find that perfect bit of Christmas for your home. The memories you make with your family will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pie customer.
The other workers' comp insurance company, they were going to reclassify our business, and then they were going to charge me $50,000.
Meet Natalie, owner of the carpentry shop. Shocked by an unexpected bill, she knew it was time to switch her workers' comp provider. That's when she found Pie Insurance.
When we got the quote back from Pie, it was a sigh of relief. They put us in a policy where we fit.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypie.com. Plus, with pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, which means no additional bill if your business grows.
I'm grateful that there's a company out there that's willing to insure us little guys because every dollar counts.
With Pie Insurance, you get pricing and coverage made for small businesses. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pie or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypie.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. We are the home for the Kings, Raiders, the NFL, and the A's. It's Sactown Sports 1140. Sactown Sports Headlines.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, I'm Jay Mars. It was an ugly night for the Kings in Philadelphia as they fell to the Sixers and lost their third of 4 games on the current Eastern Conference road trip.
Sixers got the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
The Kings got another efficient game from Domantas Sabonis, who scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting, chipping in 10 rebounds and 5 assists. The Kings look to get back on the winning track tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. Coverage begins with game night at 3 p.m. on Sactown Sports. The Giants finally landed their marquee free agent, agreeing to a 13-year, $350 million deal with shortstop Carlos Correa. The 27-year-old two-time All-Star batted .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBI last season with the Minnesota Twins. The $350 million exceeds the $341 million shortstop Francisco Lindor received from the New York Mets, and the $340 million for shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres. 49ers fans can breathe a sigh of relief as head coach Kyle Shanahan expects wideout Deebo Samuel back before the end of the regular season, saying he will be back in 3-ish weeks. Coming up today, Kings Keller analyst Kayte Christensen at 8 from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
Jay, hey, my headset's
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
And welcome back into the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Today, Scott Marsh. I'm filling in for Dave. Jay Mars is here as well. No Jason Ross. Hopefully they will be back soon. I know Dave will be back tomorrow.
Dave will be back tomorrow with myself. Cannot confirm Jason's status. Jason, dealing with some not so fun things from a physical standpoint. We brought him up on the show. We can tell people.
Okay, good.
Jason,
I didn't know. Yeah.
Jason's had kidney stone issues. As someone who's gone through them, I can totally empathize with that. And then Jason's off Friday till next Friday. So you might not see Mr. Ross for another week.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.
Yeah, man. Christmas time always brings out the best in the radio.
Stone's the gift that just keeps on giving.
Literally the gift that keeps on giving. And if you don't dispel of them, so to speak, it's
a world of hurt.
Yeah, I was going to make another reference, but
we'll
it's a family show. Leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave that one there. And unfortunately, Kevin Herter's not able to join us today.
He's on the Carmichael Dave Show IL too.
Yes.
What's his issue?
I understand he's at shoot around. The Kings obviously playing tonight, and it's understandable because obviously the Kings on the second night of a back-to-back going up to Toronto. You've got to go through customs, of course, once you get to Canada. So a late night shoot around going on right now. He is going to join us tomorrow.
We're aiming for tomorrow. Okay. So hopefully tomorrow in his normal 8:27 time slot.
Right when Carmichael Dave gets back.
Interesting how, by the way, again, pull back the curtain. I got that text about 7 minutes ago. I'm like, that's interesting. You're not here for your favorite segment of the week, which all of a sudden he has shoot around now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny how that works. But anyways, it's all good. And we will get Kevin Herter to you this week, because honestly, when Kevin's on the air, he's fantastic.
Kevin is so just chill and has no problem speaking his mind, which I think is what everybody really enjoys about him. And he's just an honest to God good guy.
No doubt. And he's got a long NBA career in front of him, but he could be an analyst in the league.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. If he wants to get into media when his playing days are over, listen, we don't want those days to end anytime soon. But yeah, I can see him, calling pre and post or even doing color.
Absolutely. Sitting right here, maybe.
That would be nice. Although, who's he replace?
I don't know. Might have a couple ideas. No, I don't have any ideas.
He would be an addition. He's replacing nobody.
That's addition. Yes, of course. All right, let's talk some Kings here, because obviously the road trip at 1-3, it's certainly not a disaster at this point or anything like that. The Kings would certainly love to be 2-2. Now, Jay, if we're looking at it from the positive side, I mean, the Kings could easily be 0-4 on this road trip too. It was a great win in Cleveland last Friday night, and it's a game that didn't look like they were going to get for a long time. That closeout was as good as we've seen from Sacramento in a long time, 19-0 on the road against a quality Cavs team. So they got that one win, and that's great. Obviously struggled in Milwaukee, did not play well in New York or Philadelphia. So that's the other side of it. Still these two games tonight with Toronto and Detroit on Friday, a chance to win both. My feeling is you win one of the next two, you get out on this, get out of the road trip 2-4. I would be happy with that.
Well, if they win the next two, they get out 3-3.
I mean, win one of the next two.
Oh, okay.
If you win both, you're feeling great. That plane ride home feels like it's 15 minutes coming back across the country.
And tonight's going to be rough. Again, you mentioned going up to Toronto, going through customs after, an evening game in Philadelphia the night before. That is hard to get there, get rested, and get ready for a Toronto team that hasn't played great this year, but still have very good players in Pascal Siakam. And this is a game that is, I don't have high hopes for the Kings going into tonight, just given what we've seen the last two games. It's really been a tale of a quarter, right? In the Knicks game, it was the first quarter that the Kings just came out flat, and the Knicks really took advantage of them in that game. And then last night, the second quarter, dictated the rest of the game. The Kings were within 5 points with about 11 minutes to go. Sabonis has to go out. And then Philadelphia just takes over from there, and nothing else mattered. And so you see it with these two games that the Kings have just given up way too much, way too early, and find themselves scrapping back. They had to scrap back, to your point, to win that game in Cleveland. I just don't foresee how, coming off a back-to-back after last night's loss, that this team is going to be able to come out and build an early lead, so to speak, in Toronto.
It's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. But to your point, the Raptors aren't world beaters either. No. They lost in Orlando last time out to the Magic. Now, the Magic have won a few games recently, but they're not a good NBA team at this point.
No, they have a lot of young talent in Orlando. But to your point, Toronto is not great. But I would look more towards Detroit as maybe getting that second win of the road trip if you can't get that victory tonight. But let's remember, the Pistons hung tough with the Kings, and that was another game. The Kings, that game was well in doubt until about 8 minutes left in the fourth. But you got to imagine going into that game against Detroit, and I hate to, overlook tonight's game in Toronto, but again, I'm just trying to be as realistic as possible here. That's a team that has lost Kayte Cunningham for the season, which is a devastating blow to them. That Detroit team is ripe to be, beaten pretty badly.
Sure, they're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes.
For sure.
Although Detroit, give them credit because they played a great game in Sacramento. They almost won, and then they went on the road and they won in Denver and Utah back-to-back, and that's only like the fifth time that back-to-back combo has happened, Utah-Denver, in 25 years. So to the point, Detroit's still playing hard. There's still young talent on that team. Jaden Ivey's been fun to watch. That's not a gimme either. Toronto, maybe the best thing they have going for them in this game tonight is they've been off since Sunday.
Yeah, no, they're going to be well-rested. A Kings team that's not going to be well-rested. But, looking at tonight, if the Kings are going to have any chance to win, I think the two things that stick out to me more than anything, get boards. You have to rebound the basketball. Yeah. You pointed out that they technically out-rebounded the Sixers last night.
They did,
but
by 6.
By 6, but again, how much of that came with, when the game was well in doubt. Number 2, the three-point shooting. atrocious last night. If they shoot what they did last night from 3, they don't stand a chance tonight.
Agreed. 10 of 42 will not get it done on any night. And again, you have to stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah,
that's always a given with this team, but obviously they can't have Sabonis out on the bench in the first half of this game.
Yeah, and it's funny how you say like they have to stay out of foul trouble, and it really does come down to Sabonis has to stay out of foul trouble.
Yes.
Again, you point out when he is not on the floor, and then you have De'Aaron Fox who's not at 100%, the offense stagnates, number one. But more importantly, he's really the only presence they have on the glass down low right now.
Yep.
Chimezie Metu, I think, has done an admirable job kind of playing that backup 5. Trey Lance is fine as a backup 4, but he's more of a stretch guy. He's not going to go in there and, get double-digit rebounds on a nightly basis.
No, he's not.
If he gets into foul trouble again tonight, I mean, you can just basically say goodbye to this game. I don't think, as much as Toronto hasn't played well, they have enough talent on that team that if you get down to them big early because you're in foul trouble, it's going to be very hard to come back against them.
Yeah, Toronto's an interesting team to me. Obviously, it's not that far removed from winning an NBA championship, but it's not that far removed from when they had Kawhi Leonard too. So you can't put them in that echelon, but they're certainly a team that can be a legitimate playoff team. No doubt that you've still got some real good pieces there. Siakam, who was injured, is back now. To your point, he had a great game in Orlando, 36 and 19. So the Kings will have to contend with him. Van Vliet's done a nice job in the backcourt. There are some good pieces. Scotty Barnes hasn't played as well in his second year, but he's still one of the good young up-and-comers in this league. So certainly the Raptors have enough talent on that.
And the guy I'd really watch out for tonight is OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby has been really good for them this year. He's averaging 19 points, close to 6 boards. He's been fantastic, 2.5 steals a game. To me, he's the guy that can really give the Kings fits on both ends of the floor tonight. So you really have to gear up for Anunoby, but it goes back to the rebounding. In a lineup with Siakam, Anunoby, and Barnes, all 3 of those guys are capable of pulling down boards. Barnes is leading the team with 7 this year per game. Keegan and Harrison really need to step up tonight and really need to crash those boards and really help out on the glass, or else it's going to be a long night for the Kings.
Yeah, another thing too, I know with Domas, really it's most important for him to stay out of foul trouble, but Keegan's been getting in foul trouble early on too. That hurt them earlier in the road trip when he picked up his 3rd foul.
Especially because he's been playing a lot
He's
better
shooting the
recently.
ball better now.
He's got a lot more confidence in his game. Katie's going to come on today with us at 8, but she had mentioned last week how much more confidence he was playing with and how he had really, she thought, got himself out of the slump. Well, a great way to get yourself back into a slump is have inconsistent minutes on the floor because of foul trouble.
Yeah,
I agree with you. If he gets into foul trouble tonight and Domas gets into foul trouble tonight, the Kings are so thin up front, it's going to be rough.
It could be tough. And again, I think we have to wonder a little bit, is De'Aaron Fox going to play tonight?
Yeah, that's the other side of it. And the way he looked last night, he did not look like he was ready to come back and be 100%. I get the idea that if he can play through pain, great. And, so long as it's not going to exaggerate the injury anymore or aggravate it, excuse me. But last night, he still looks like a guy who is missing that quick first step, who's missing that ability to get downhill. And those are literally the 2 biggest aspects of his game, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If he's not doing that and he's having to settle for jump shots, he's not at his best. And I don't think this Kings team plays particularly well when he's not at his best. I think at this point, if he is truly, we just need to get him back from that foot injury, sit him. Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk, Terrence Davis, you have a glutton of guards that can fill in that, I feel comfortable with at least.
But Fox is the head of the snake.
Oh,
we know
absolutely.
that. Yeah. And last night, to the point, just 13 points, 5 of 15 floor, 1 of 7 from 3, 1 assist, 1 steal. Just not De'Aaron Fox-like numbers. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, again, we don't have anything in terms of the injury update, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play tonight, and maybe they saved him for Detroit on Friday. So we'll see all about that. But right now, the Kings, I think the bottom line is at 14-12, they're going through a tough East Coast swing here. Don't panic. Just like when they won 8 and 9 and we got to see the beam consistently up. Don't start putting the championship banners together either.
No. And this team is going to likely, as the season goes on, there's ups and downs. You said it this morning, and I think you're right. This is right now, I think we're starting to see the makeup of a 500 team. They're currently 2 games above 500. Listen, if all goes well, they could be 4 games above 500 at the end of this trip.
but we need to be realistic and expect that this team is likely going to have moments where they're sitting a couple games under 500 and they're sitting a few games above it. And this is part of a long NBA season. We talked about Phoenix, who's lost 5 games, and considered one of the classier teams in the Western Conference. It's a long season. Buckle up. Don't let this trip and what has happened so far completely bring you down.
No doubt. As Mike Brown will sum it up with his quote, the NBA year and grind is really hard, and we're going to have to experience the downs like we have ups in this short time together. I think that is all very true. All right, when we come back, it's time for 3 for Madness. We're going to get our predictions on the Kings road trip. We'll look about the Niners. Can they win out the remainder of the regular season? And what about the new names for all the postseason NBA trophies? Are you down with the Michael Jordan MVP trophy name? We'll talk all about that in 3 for Madness next, right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Sactown Sports.
Harrison now pulls up at the right elbow. Keith burns a 15-footer.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, a Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's going on for Chrysler's Big Finish event?
We are finishing the year strong with $10,000 off MSRP on both the new 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs and Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Plus, no payments for 90 days. And when you come in, ask about our Hoblet exclusive 4.99% financing for 84 months.
Are you sure that's for both the Laramie and Bighorn?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And it gets even better. Right now, you can save up to $2,500 off MSRP on the all-new 2023 Wrangler Unlimited 4xe, both Rubicon and Sahara. But you better hurry because the $7,500 federal tax credit ends December 31st.
Well, hurry in before the savings is gone. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period. 10,000 total net savings after 5,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discount on Laramie and 6,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount on Bighorn. Rebates may include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualify and up to $1,500 in Hoblet Ram coupons only while supplies last. Special 4.99% financing for 84 months on approved credit through Travis Credit Union. Must have 760 plus FICO score to qualify. $1,415 per $1,000 borrowed. $2,500 total net savings on Wrangler after $1,000 factory rebates and $1,500 dealer discount. $7,500 income tax credit offered by third party subject to change without notice. 10 and 8 savings. See dealer for details.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Question 1.
All right, 3 for Madness time. Scott Marsh, are you ready to be pelted with 3 hard-hitting questions?
Pelt away.
Make a prediction. The Kings will end their 6-game Eastern Conference road trip 1-5, 2-4, or 3-3.
I like 2 and 4. I think they get one of the next 2. And I don't know, for some reason, I feel like tonight even might be the one they get. But I do feel like they will go 1-1 the next 2 games, finish out 2 and 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think 1-1 over the next 2 is the likely outcome. I think tonight they lose, and I think they eke out a victory in Detroit. So they would go 2-4 on the road trip. Not great, but also not worst case scenario. I think 1-5, 0-6 would have been worst case scenario, but worst case scenario still on the board in that case.
What if I tell you this, Jabe? Will this change your mind? You were talking about Anunoby, right?
Mm-hmm.
How big a threat he is. He's out tonight.
Well, if Anunoby's out, that changes the whole complexion of the game.
Left hip strain has been ruled out for the game.
Wow. So there you go. OG not playing tonight. That's going to be a blow to the Raptors. Still not convinced that they're going to.
Huh?
No, I mean, listen, this is a team that lost last night to a Sixers team that was without Tyrese Maxey. Now the Sixers are much better than the Raptors. I understand that, but I can no longer count on the idea that a key player is out. It's going to lead to automatic victory for the Kings, especially with the way they've been playing on offense the last couple nights.
No doubt about that. And we've chronicled De'Aaron for a while now. So with him not 100%, obviously that affects things too. Just talking about the shooting numbers for the Kings, like over the last 5 games, you look at the numbers, they've definitely gone down significantly. The Kings were top 3 in the league in 3-point shooting. They're down to 6 now, 13 points a game. 3-point attempts under 40 at 37.5. 3-point shooting percentage is now 16th in the league at 35.5%. So you can see the numbers are on the decline. And I think for me, as a Kings fan right now, a little bit more concerned about that. We've seen Herter struggle shooting the ball. Malik Monk's been great, but his numbers shooting percentage-wise haven't been great. This team's been on a downward trend. Is it going to continue, or is it just the ebb and flow of the regular season?
Well, you got to hope it's the ebb and flow, because if you're sitting in the bottom half of the league in 3-point percentage when you're jacking up 40 a game, that's a recipe for disaster. I think Kevin Herter eventually shoots himself out of the slump. I think Malik Monk is good. Malik Monk is so streaky,
And I think you're going to see him really, as the season ebbs and flows, has some really highs. And as you're seeing the last 3 games, have some real lows. He shot better last night, but he still wasn't very good. To me, it's can Keegan Murray find a level of consistency? And the other side is, can Harrison Barnes find a level of consistency?
Yep. No, I hear you. I'll just rattle off. So last 10 games, Herter, 24% from downtown.
Oof.
Fox, 26. Davian Mitchell, 27. Harrison Barnes, 30%. Malik Monk, 32. And Trey Lyles, 31%.
Wow.
So,
and that is so different from the beginning of the season when Fox's 3-point percentage was around 40. Herter was shooting the lights out of the place.
Exactly.
He was well over 50.
Oh my God.
And I thought, and
Sure.
we all expected him to regress a little bit, but I didn't think we'd see him regress down to the 20s.
No, and again, it's small sample size. We're still only a third of the way through the year. So is it ebbs and flows, or is it truly a downward trajectory? We don't know. And we didn't get a chance to ask Kevin today.
No, we didn't, but maybe we'll ask Kevin tomorrow, hopefully after a win.
Absolutely.
Question 2.
All right. Will the 49ers win out the remainder of their schedule?
My answer, no. And in fact, I don't think they win tomorrow night in Seattle. Because, again, I just think everything's stacked against them with the injuries. Brock Purdy probably plays, but we don't know for sure there. The quarterback situation's a question mark. We know no Deebo Samuel. You're going right into the heart of the line. You're going up into Seattle, one of the toughest places to play in the league. They lose on Sunday, a terrible loss to Carolina. They need this game to keep their hopes alive in the division. So I don't think they win tomorrow night.
I think that the 49ers do win tomorrow night on the back of that defense, because again, when you talk about 3 days to prep, that's usually some of the worst offensive football you'll see in the NFL all season
to the
long.
point with that short time, and they've got to travel as part of it. Now it's short travel to Seattle. It's not like they're going across country or anything, but that adds up.
It does, but you're talking about a Seahawks team who, again, nobody expected them to be this good with Geno Smith behind center. But we saw what that 49ers defense did to them earlier in the season, and I would imagine you'll see much of the same. I think the 49ers eke out a victory tomorrow, somewhere around the lines of like 17-10. It's going to be ugly, but I also don't think they're going to win out. And where I have them as a peg to lose is they're going to kind of like do a double take here. I think they win against Seattle.
Okay.
I think they will beat Washington.
Okay.
I think they'll beat the Raiders because even if the Raiders are beating them at halftime, the Raiders will Raider. I think they lose the final week of the season to the Cardinals.
Wow. A Kyle Murray-less Cardinals?
A Kyler Murray-less Cardinals. I think because the Niners will have clinched at that point, and, going into the playoffs, they're going to want to be as healthy as possible.
Okay. Sitting out a lot of players.
And I think they will have, they win the division. They're the 3 seed regardless. And unless they have an opportunity to get the 2 seed, which I don't think they will.
And the 2 seed doesn't mean as much. It's not a bye.
It's not a bye anymore. They're going to have a home game regardless. I definitely see them just resting guys and the Cardinals winning just based upon that. So I think it'll be a weird way to, not win out the season, but I do think it's a very probable way to not win out the season.
I will say this. I think if the Niners beat Seattle tomorrow night, I do think they will win out because to your point, I do think they beat Washington on Christmas Eve. I do think they go to Vegas and beat the Raiders. That's just a crazy game. New Year's Day in Vegas, right?
Can't imagine anybody will have an issue from the night before.
What could possibly
Everyone will
happen?
go to bed before the ball drops, be well rested for the game.
And who knows what the Raiders, I mean, they're out of playoff contention, but you just never know with that team. But I think the Niners win that game. And then I do think they beat the Cardinals at home.
Okay. Interesting. We're just on the complete opposite side of the spectrum here as far as that loss goes.
Yeah.
Question 3.
Yesterday, the NBA announced a slew of name changes to some of their trophies. Most importantly, the NBA has named the physical MVP trophy the Michael Jordan Trophy. Did they get this right, even though Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has one more MVP than Michael Jordan?
I have no problem with it. I mean, it's the debate who's the greatest player of all time. You can have the debate, is it Jordan, is it Jabbar? They're both in the conversation. Jabbar's got 6 MVPs. Jordan's got 5. No problem. Anytime you're putting Michael Jordan on an award, I think you're in pretty good company.
It's hard to argue, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can really say that that's misnamed by any stretch of the imagination. So I got no issue with it.
Yeah, I don't either. Listen, I'm a Kareem truther. I'm one of those people that makes the argument that he's the greatest player of all time, with Michael a ridiculously razor thin close second. But Kareem also got the Social Justice Award named after him, which if you know Kareem and you've read up about Kareem, I think that actually probably means more to him.
It does.
And being recognized for that than what he did on the basketball court. And because of that, I think it's 100% logical to name the award after Michael Jordan, after Kareem. There's literally nobody else outside of LeBron James who's still an active player that even should get consideration for that.
I agree with that. I'm interested in some of the other names. So like Defensive Player of the Year is now the Hakeem Olajuwon Trophy.
That's an interesting one.
The Rookie of the Year is the Wilt Chamberlain Trophy. Sixth Man of the Year, the John Havlicek Trophy. The Most Improved Player of the Year, George Mikan. And the Clutch Player of the Year is now the Jerry West Trophy.
The Jerry West one,
that makes total
obviously,
sense. He was
Mr. Clutch.
Come on.
But Wilt Chamberlain, I get it, had, the most amazing rookie season ever in basketball history.
You can name almost any trophy after Wilt Chamberlain.
But so they had to find one, right?
The court, right?
They had to find one. It's like, all right, Rookie of the Year. You cannot argue what he did as a rookie in the NBA. The Havlicek Trophy for Sixth Man, I think I get it. That's Jamal Crawford's award.
I was just thinking that also. I could see that.
And then what was the other one? Oh, Defensive Player of the Year. Listen, Hakeem was amazing on the defensive end of the ball, but he was so good on offense. I just feel like there's other guys.
They probably had to award him because of how good he was. Like, Dikembe Mutombo would have been.
That was kind of my idea
one too. There's obviously Draymond Green's upset it wasn't named after him, but he's still playing, of course.
If Draymond had retired at the end of last season, do you think they named the award after him? I don't.
No chance. And the Most Improved is George Mikan, and quite honestly, I just don't know enough about George Mikan.
Unless you can show me that every improved player, the biggest reason why they're the most improved is because of their, ability to do the Mikan drill.
Yeah.
I don't really, that one was kind of head scratching again. I think it was another one, Scott, where it was like, okay, this guy is like the original.
We need to honor the guy.
Yeah. How can we honor the guy?
Yeah.
Most Improved trophy doesn't
Let's
have
take
anybody.
Our least important trophy and name it after George Mikan.
Is the Most Improved the least important?
I think so.
I feel like Rookie of the Year is the least important.
Okay, I won't argue that. Rookie of the Year doesn't mean a lot to me either. All right, but that's interesting. But no problem with MJ there.
No.
All right, when we come back, let's talk some Kings trade rumors. Why not? Let's stir it up a little bit. Shams Charania has saying that the Kings are in pursuit of Noel. So we'll see about that. Kyle Kuzma in the mix as well. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Live and past broadcasts of the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and Cattles and Rami. Interviews, podcasts, and more. They all live on the Sactown Sports 1140 app. Download the app now in the App Store and Google Play.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
Mike Capel here, serial entrepreneur. I began paying employees in 1988. I would handwrite checks and say, here you go, don't cash it until Tuesday. But a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said,
Dad works for the government, and state law requires that I receive a pay stub.
crud. Now I'm supposed to be an expert on withholding payroll taxes and create pay stubs? That's why I created Patriot Software, to help employers with 1 to 100 employees do their payroll correctly with pay stubs. Go to patriotsoftware.com. Use promo code RADIO and get 2 months of payroll free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
PatriotSoftware.com. Accounting and payroll. Keep your time and money.
The new Fords have arrived at Folsom Lake Ford. I know you've been waiting for a new F-150 or maybe an Explorer or Expedition. Guess what? Folsom Lake Ford has them. Your truck headquarters for over 30 years right here in Sacramento is all stocked up with new Fords and used vehicles. Save with low interest financing on your favorite new models and zero down deals available on all new and used vehicles with approved credit. Get top dollar for your trade, making your monthly payment on your new Ford even lower. Folsom Lake Ford is the only dealership I recommend to my friends. A Triple Crown Award winner for sales, service, and finance. Highway 50 Folsom exit, or browse fresh inventory online at folsomlakeford.com. It's updated almost daily. And if you can't find what you're looking for, give them a call. Tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford.
Hey, did you get that proposal done?
It can wait till tomorrow.
Some things can wait.
Should we book those flights to see your folks?
We can do it later.
But untreated COVID isn't one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms? Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 4, 2:18 a.m. I've been camping outside the Harrington house for 4 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. Mr. Harrington says I don't need to do this, since Progressive protects 24/7 is a pretty easy concept to grasp, but I'm going to stay and prove my point. Besides, there's a big tree branch over the roof, and I think it's planning something.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men.
Sactown Sports Headlines.
With your Sactown Sports Headlines, I'm Jay Mars. It was an ugly night for the Kings in Philadelphia as they fell to the Sixers and lost their third of 4 games on the current Eastern Conference road trip.
Sixers get the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
The Kings got another efficient game from Domantas Sabonis, who scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting, chipping in 10 rebounds and 5 assists. The Kings look to get back on the winning track tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. Coverage begins with game night at 3 p.m. on Sactown Sports. The Giants finally landed their marquee free agent, agreeing to a 13-year, $350 million deal with shortstop Carlos Correa. The 27-year-old two-time All-Star batted .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBI last season with the Minnesota Twins. The $350 million exceeds the $341 million shortstop Francisco Lindor received from the New York Mets, and the $340 million for shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres. 49ers fans can breathe a sigh of relief as head coach Kyle Shanahan expects wideout Deebo Samuel back before the end of the regular season, saying he will be back in 3-ish weeks. Coming up today, Kings Keller analyst Kayte Christensen at 8 from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Those are your headlines. Back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
They've been here for a combined 50 years. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Scott Marsh in today with Jay Mars. We're going to get into some Kings trade rumors here. Now, Jay, tell me the official ruling. Is it okay to take a call or two here?
Yes, of course, at 916-339-1140. AC is on line 1.
Let's take AC. He's got a thought on these trophy namings that we were talking about. AC, how are you, my friend?
Hey, guys. Thanks for slugging it out this morning.
You got it. Absolutely. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Before Hakeem Olajuwon was the inspiration for Eddie Murphy's character in Trading Places, he actually, remember he was called Hakeem incorrectly for a while. I actually looked, this is back in newspaper days, of course. Yes. I looked at the paper one day, and that cat was leading the NBA in steals.
Yes.
Now, for a center to freaking lead the NBA in steals is unreal to me. I mean,
Agreed.
All the quick players in the league and all that other stuff. So I was like you guys. I kind of blinked twice when they said he was going to be on the defensive trophy or whatever. But then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That guy was cat quick. He was a soccer player in Nigeria. He was super quick on his feet, and it kind of a nice little homage to the past. So anyway, I just want to.
I appreciate that, AC. That's some good points right there. I mean, no doubt the Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the greats, and absolutely he was a fantastic defensive player. But when I think of Hakeem, I think of the shake, right? The dream shake, right? The baseline moves.
Mm-hmm.
And just I think of him as an offensive player. When I think back, going way back, when there was the Twin Towers with Ralph Sampson,
right?
Like I think of Sampson as the defensive guy and Hakeem as the scorer. But again, I don't have any quibbles with Hakeem being the defensive player.
Listen, we're not going to sit here for the next hour and a half and debate it.
Yeah.
Like, congrats. Good guy. Love Hakeem. Glad he got an award named after him.
Absolutely. No problems there whatsoever. All right, let's break this down a little bit because the Kings at 14-12, we've seen their strengths. The road trip has kind of opened up some of the weaknesses too. Obviously inside that we've talked about. When they play teams that can bang them inside, especially in the offensive glass, they struggle.
Yeah.
So no doubt here that the Kings might be interested in making some trades. And you pointed out here that the Kings reportedly according to NBC Sports, are engaged in talks with Nerlens Noel on a possible trade, and that would be a big guy that the Kings could put back in potentially.
Yeah, and I think he would come to you for next to nothing right now. He's kind of sitting in Detroit just doing a whole lot of nothing. But Noel, he's an athletic center known for his rim protection, which has been something we have been preaching we need in Sacramento for years now. And not even necessarily as a starting five, but if you can bring a guy off the bench who does protect that rim, that changes the whole dynamic of that offense. Again, I can't imagine that would cost the Kings much to go out and get him. The only thing with Noel is don't expect much on the offensive side outside of rim running, and don't expect much from rebounding. Nerlens Noel, despite his size and athleticism, is not a rebounder.
All right, 6'10", just to give you the stats, 28 years old. He was the number 6 pick in the draft, New Orleans, but he's become a journeyman. He's played with Philadelphia, the Mavs, OKC, the Knicks, and now he's with the Pistons. So again, it would just be trying to add a body on the inside, and could it help? Possibly. We'll see. But we do know overall, the big picture, that the Kings do need some help inside. If they're not going to play Rashawn Holmes significant minutes, and Alex Len is just going to sit there on the bench and really not play at all, the Kings need more depth and height inside than just playing Domas at the 5 all the time.
Yeah, and then a guy who could, Noel's a guy who can fill in there, but the other guy they've been rumored, according to the Athletic's Shams Charania, is Kyle Kuzma. Kuzma's having an outstanding year in Washington.
That's a whole different ball of wax right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, can play small ball 5 for you in a pinch, but he would be adding more depth to the front line, which the Kings desperately need. He only makes $13 million. He has an option for next year, but he's gonna opt out. He's gonna be looking to get a big payday. He's having a great year, though, too. He is. He's having an outstanding year and is going to be worthy of a $20 million per season plus payday next year. I just wonder, what would he cost the Kings at $13 million a year? Do you think a Rashawn Holmes, Davion Mitchell deal gets that done? Do you have to add draft picks to that? Because again, he's going to be a free agent, so he's a rental for whoever gets him, which is going to hurt, Washington in the market. The other idea is Tommy Shepard, the GM in Washington, when all signs point to trade a guy, he does usually the opposite. And so as much as the Kings might want to engage and be interested in Kuzma, I just feel like the Wizards are going to potentially ask for too much in return and end up with Kuzma still at the end of the season.
Well, good point with that for Bradley Beal, because it looked like he was on the move, and of course he wasn't. Kyle Kuzma, going back, how we used to do our draft day predictions here at Sactown Sports. Well, I'm trying to remember, this past year or 2 years ago, my prediction was that the Kings were going to make a draft day deal for Kyle Kuzma and trade their first round pick. So this conversation is not just today, right? We've been talking about this for a while, and I think Kyle Kuzma is kind of a player, like going back a little, Dante DiVincenzo. It's a player that the Kings have been interested in for a while. So could they pull off the trade? Possibly, but I do think what they have to give up in return is more now than it probably ever would have been before.
Well, yeah, consider that.
And I know he's got the contract, but in some circles, having that contract is a great thing. I'm not saying it would be for Kuzma and the Kings. I think if they went after a Kyle Kuzma, it would be for a long-term play.
Yeah, I don't think the Kings would be trading for him with the idea that they just
expiring contract.
Right, no, especially because he's made it well known he either wants to go back to a glamour market, such, remember he played with the Lakers, or he wants to go to a contending team, which the Kings are starting to show signs of that. And if he can be a big contributor on a contending team, that really makes them, I would think, a favorite to re-sign him. But go back to that trade you're referencing, and the Kings have had eyes on Kyle Kuzma for a long time. I mean, Kyle Kuzma was 2 years ago on draft day, we all thought a Sacramento King, and what was going to be given up in that deal was basically Buddy Hield was the centerpiece around that, And you just look back, it's like, man, to your point, I think it would take more than just Buddy Hield to acquire Kyle Kuzma
for
today.
sure. Oh, there's no doubt in my mind about that. Kyle Kuzma has become a really nice NBA player. And not that Buddy Hield's not a nice NBA player. He is. I just think Kuzma's a more versatile NBA.
Yeah,
player.
No, especially out on the wing, and he can do so many things. He can score inside. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's hitting at about a 33% clip, so he can knock it down. Right, oh, yeah. The big thing for me is his rebounding ability. I mean, he has comparable size to Harrison Barnes. I think he's an inch taller than him, but they're around the same weight. But Kyle Kuzma gets after it on the boards. He's averaging almost 8 per game this year. add him to that front line because I think he would automatically become your starting power forward. And then you can have one of either Harrison or Keegan coming off the bench. It adds so much depth up front and really helps you in that rebounding department, which we, started this segment and we spent a lot of time on. The Kings are just getting killed in it when Sabonis is off the floor.
Yeah. Well, and the Kings have come out earlier in the year and they said Harrison Barnes is not on the table. So it'll be interesting. Was that just Coach GM speak, or is that legit? Because you're never going to come out and say, oh yeah, by the way, we want to trade Harrison Barnes.
Scott, I don't think any of us thought Tyrese Halliburton was on the table last year, whether it had been stated publicly or not.
We understand what that means. I get that. And in the big picture for Sacramento, I mean, the thing they've kind of got to figure out, right, is not just if they're keeping Barnes. I think Barnes is proven he's a legitimate piece of what Sacramento's doing, but
especially in the locker room.
For sure. But Rashawn Holmes, they got to figure out what's going on there, right?
I mean, I think what's going on there is simply Rashawn Holmes just does not fit the offensive scheme that Mike Brown runs. When you remember why he was so good last year, it was a lot of pick and roll with Tyrese Halliburton.
And what I mean by Rashawn Holmes, it's pretty apparent that he's not in the picture for the Kings. So like how you got to find a way to get some value for him, right?
Right. And I think that's what makes him such a candidate to move in a deal for Kuzma. Again, the salaries, Rashawn only makes $2 million less.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that Washington would want a young piece, and I think Davion Mitchell would be that guy that they would probably...
Would you trade a first-round pick for Kuzma?
No, because right now the only available first you have is 28 until the Kevin Huerter trade is completed with that draft pick, which that is the only downside of that trade. I'm not a big fan of trading picks 5 years out.
Yeah.
Just because you have no idea what that pick is going to look like in 5 years, dude. That could be the number one overall pick. And
better be protected.
Yeah, it better. Well, yeah, the first rounder would have to be heavily protected.
Yeah, sure. What else would they throw into the mix? Because Holmes is not enough to.
That's what I said. I think Davion might be the piece.
He could be.
And you have depth at the guard with Davis and Monk. Monk has shown that he can be a distributor and run the point off the second unit. And you have Dellavedova in case of emergency. I love Davion, but if it means, attaching him to Holmes to bring back a piece like Kyle Kuzma, it's going to be a trade that's really hard to say no to.
Do you think, and now we're just speculating.
Sure. That's what we do as hosts.
That's why we have Sports Talk Radio, in my opinion. If you put Domas and Kuzma out there, do you have enough? In my mind, I still feel like you need something inside. You need something bigger along the lines. I'm not saying it's Nerlens Noel, but I feel like you need something else if you're not going to play anybody else along with Domas that you have on your current roster.
Yeah, I agree with you. To me, the ideal guy to pair with Domas, and who knows, I'm paying, pretty close attention to what's going on in Utah. If they continue to downslide, they're going to keep looking to sell off pieces. To me, the ideal guy to pair with him is Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, fantastic, of course.
So I don't know if that deal like that will materialize, but if you're asking me what else they need, I think that's the piece.
Well, there's a reason it's called rumors.
Yes.
All right. When we come back, let's focus back in on the 49ers a little bit. We'll dive into the Deebo Samuel injury. It seems to be better. We'll talk about Kyle Shanahan's thoughts on all of that and his play calling. Jerry Rice called out Kyle Shanahan. We'll get into that. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Kings insiders Frankie Cardoselli and Chris Watkins give you all things Kings on the return of the Roar podcast.
With these two sitting next to me now, certainly feel comforted.
You can sign up for free at SactownSports.com.
Have you heard the news? New Hondas are back at Capital City Honda, including the all-new redesigned 2023 CR-V and HR-V. Stop by today or visit us at capcityhonda.com and see our new car inventory with no dealer markup. Have a car to sell or trade? We're paying top dollar for any make and model. Cap City Freeway at the Fulton Avenue exit by the Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. capcityhonda.com.
Nick Cattle saying, start your holidays right with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers from California Backyard. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill, it's turned me into a pro. Think outside the kitchen this year and cook your whole holiday meal on Napoleon Gas Grill. Napoleon, they are the grills built to last, all made with premium steel that boasts quality. Check out Napoleon Grills today at any of the 4 nearby California Backyard locations always the best in backyard living. California Backyards. Check them out at Napoleon.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
New Kia's in stock at Folsom Lake Kia right now. Get low finance rates and zero down deals during the season of giving. Folsom Lake Kia, over 20 years in Sacramento. Shop FolsomLakeKia.com. That's FolsomLakeKia.com.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, curbside pickup, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at HagenOaks.com.
Buying a new Acura is an easy decision, and Acura of Stockton makes buying easy. Come and see us today or shop online. If we don't have it, you can pre-select your favorite Acura and pick it up when it arrives. No contracts or deposits required. It's that easy. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade whether you buy from us or not. Don't settle for less than the quality of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or online at AcuraofStockton.com.
Folks, there's been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's been getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. And he's off to the races. He might go all the way. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, touchdown. He did it, folks. He did it.
Regain and optimize your sexual performance, drug-free and surgery-free. The Gainswave treatment will help you get that bedroom touchdown. See what Dr. Dan Botha and his team at Gainswave can do for you. Visit GainswaveCalgary.ca.
This holiday season, give the gift they'll really love. A new Honda from Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda.
Happy Honda Days are happening right now. Trade in and trade up. Get top dollar for your trade and take advantage of low APR financing and great lease rates at Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2020 total new car sales from American Honda Motor Company Zone 1 report.
Stimulating conversation about kitchen gadgets and baseball cards.
I think that's really crazy interesting.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Scott Marsh in today for Carmichael Dave, and Jason Ross out as well. Jay Mars here, of course. All right, let's get into some 49ers conversation. The Niners look like they dodged a bullet with Deebo Samuel, what looked like to be a devastating blow. Kyle Shanahan has said now that the star wide receiver / running back will be out, quote, 3-ish weeks, which means he would be back for a playoff run for San Francisco. And of course, that's great news, Jay.
No, it's terrific news because when you saw the injury happen and you see the cart come out, I mean, most of us were under the impression that, Deebo was lost for the year.
Yeah, ACL, something really, really bad.
And then, they basically downgraded that injury and said, well, he's out the regular season, but, there's a good chance he'll be back for the playoffs. And then Kyle Shanahan was asked about his timeline again yesterday and had this to say.
I mean, there's 4 weeks left in the season. I think they told me 3-ish is our expectation. So right in that area.
Yeah. You got to imagine if you can get Deebo Samuel back in the regular season, that is just, again, the 49ers avoided a bullet.
Well, and let's put it this way too, as we went through their schedule. They finished January 8th against the Cardinals. That game could be meaningless based on what happens tomorrow night in Seattle. A good chance to at least win the division. They would still have to play in the first round, most likely. There's only one bye now, not two. But, I'm thinking you're probably not going to see Deebo Samuel come back for a late season game against the Cardinals on January 8th, the way things are based out. But if you have him back for the playoffs, that should be fine. Deebo Samuel's not a guy who needs in my opinion, to get some run before the playoffs.
No, they'll prep him in practice. Again, he's a veteran at this point. He's played a lot of playoff games, played a lot of games, period. But it was interesting. We were talking about it, and you teased it. Jerry Rice, took to social media, specifically Twitter and Instagram, and I wanted to share this.
Yeah, please read that.
A couple days ago, he posted this, and it was a picture of Deebo Samuel, and it said, "Please stop running our skill players up the middle." And he tags Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Deebo Samuel's account, saying they're all hurt. Now we all know that Jimmy did not get hurt running the ball up the middle. He was sacked in that game against Miami. But the Trey Lance one sticks out, obviously, as a, essentially rookie quarterback running up the gut. That's tremendous punishment to put on a guy that hasn't played in many NFL games. And then Deebo Samuel, it's interesting because nobody criticizes it when it works. They only criticize it when it doesn't work and when guys get hurt. And I think the big criticism there was, they did that up 3 touchdowns. Yeah. Like, why risk that at that point? Because when we've seen them use Deebo Samuel in that running back role, 9 times out of 10, it's to go outside, which is what you want from him because he's obviously going to be protected better that way. But I do agree with Jerry Rice. Like, they really need to limit the idea of running skill players up the gut.
Yeah, and the bigger picture of this, because Jerry Rice is Mr. 49er, right?
Yes.
I mean, if you go to a 49er game, as much as you see the 49ers on the field, you're going to see Jerry Rice on the sideline.
He's there all the time.
Decked out in the suit, the tie, shaking hands. I mean, he's a representative of the organization. So for him to come out with these comments against Kyle Shanahan is kind of, to me, the story more than even what he's saying, right? Like, how are the 49ers going to respond to all of this? I agree with Jerry Rice, though. The offense is definitely set for a run attack, and Kyle Shanahan's one of the best offensive minds in the game, but you have to be smart about how you're using your players too at times, right?
Right. No, exactly. And you have depth at the running back position already with McCaffrey. Davis can run the ball. Yeah. I mean, it sucks losing Elijah Mitchell, but again, there's still depth and there's still plenty to do at that running back position. And again, if you're going to use Deebo in that back role, we've seen it. Run him to the outside. It works well every time. But when you send someone up the middle, you are increasing the likelihood that they are going to get injured. True. Deebo doesn't take the traditional running back beating. His body, as big and bulky as it is,
he's a wide receiver who can play running back very well. and to the point too. Now, granted, football is the most physical, violent sport we know, right? And it's contact, and there's going to be injuries. And it doesn't matter what your play call is, you're going to have injuries in the game of football. But to the point, you're running your quarterbacks like a Jimmy Garoppolo and with Trey Lance. And again, the world of football's changed, right?
Of course.
Quarterbacks are now part running back, part quarterbacks. The good ones in the league. I mean, you watch Lamar Jackson and you see what's going on in Philadelphia now with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, Josh Allen, the way he barrels over people.
And now he's 6'4", 250.
Yeah, exactly. He's a big boy.
So, but having said all of that, I do think Kyle Shanahan could ratchet it down a notch.
Yeah, and especially to me, the Trey Lance injury is much more egregious than the Deebo one. Again, just given the fact that Deebo at least has a size where
there's a difference between somebody who is a wide receiver or a true running back versus somebody who is a quarterback.
But there was the comparison of them running Lance up the middle, and the comparison was Josh Allen because he'll run up the gut with no problem. But you just pointed out the big fact is Josh Allen is significantly bigger than Trey Lance. Josh Allen's body is also used to taking those hits at this point in his career.
True. But the Niners specifically drafted Trey Lance to do exactly that. So.
But I don't know if that early on in his career you want him going up the gut as much as they did. I mean, there's other ways to run the ball. But I want to go back to what you were saying about, Jerry Rice essentially calling out Kyle Shanahan.
What's the backlash with the team? Are we going to see him on the sidelines for the remainder of the year? Like, how's that dynamic going to work?
I cannot see, because it's not like he came out and said like disrespectful things about Kyle Shanahan. And he didn't even really call him out specifically, other than just called out the play calling.
Yes.
I cannot see a scenario where Jed York puts in a call to Jerry Rice or his representation and is like, hey man, we can't have Jerry out there anymore.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either, but it could make for a kind of an awkward sideline thing before the game if by chance Kyle Shanahan walks by Jerry Rice.
Oh, for sure. But Kyle's the type. Kyle Shanahan is so prideful.
Sure.
that if he saw Jerry Rice, he would walk right by him and not even care.
Probably.
Because Kyle's not, I mean, Kyle is a confrontational guy, but I can't imagine he's going to be doing that with Jerry Rice.
I think he's
before
comfortable in his own shoes. And before a game, he's probably not really worried about what Jerry Rice put on Instagram. So I agree with you completely. But to me, it is surprising. It's like, I don't know, your corporate spokesperson coming out and saying something against the company, right? Because that's who Jerry Rice is, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's basically an ambassador with the team at this point.
That's Derek Jeter saying something against the Yankees.
Well, I'm sure Derek Jeter has said a lot of things against the Yankees just in private. Yes. But that's just it. I agree to your point. But Jerry, over the last several years now, he makes radio appearances in more of an analysis role. Easy for me to say.
Yes.
Jerry, what I appreciate him, though, is he's not one to hold back.
No.
So while it's surprising on the surface that, again, to your point, the ambassador has something negative to say when it comes to the in-game aspect for the 49ers, it's not entirely surprising when you've heard him talk over the last several seasons. Again, he has no problem criticizing this team.
Sure.
And I think that's more the realm he had put himself in, is like he sees something as a former a former wide receiver, knowing what that probably would have done to his career.
He doesn't want to run up the middle.
He don't want to run up the middle, and he doesn't want to see wide receivers running up the middle. So I think it's natural.
Yes.
And because he's the GOAT, he has the
he can say whatever he wants.
It's supposed to say he has the latitude to pretty much criticize the team however he feels
fit.
To
your point, it wasn't over the top.
No, like he did. No. If he would have came out on IG and posted a picture instead of Debo, like post a picture of Kyle Shanahan, it says, "This guy's an idiot for running our skill players up the middle."
Yes,
we're having a different conversation this morning.
Yeah, there be a slightly different tone to it all, but to the point, it's kind of what has made the Niners so successful.
Of course.
So
the creative play calling of Kyle Shanahan is his calling card. Straight up. Although it does seem like, I'll say this, and we got a break here in a second.
Yeah.
Losing Mike McDaniels was such a big loss that I don't think anybody anticipated, because we're so used to hearing of the idea of Kyle being so phenomenal as a play caller.
Mm-hmm.
I think the play calling this year has not been as good as it has been in the past. And I think losing him being McDaniels as the OC really did affect them this year.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. And obviously with everything they've been dealing at the quarterback situation, I mean, that's part of it too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it.
No doubt. But the Niners have done a pretty good job of surviving all of that. All right. When we come back, we're going to turn our attention, some more Kings talk. Kayte Christensen, our weekly conversation with her. Look forward to having her on. We'll break down the Kings road trip, see what she thinks about tonight with the Kings in Toronto. All of that and more. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The place to tell you if the 49ers are contenders or pretenders.
It's a pretty big deal. I've been a fan of the 49ers since, 84.
Your home for 49ers news and talk. Sactown Sports, your local sports leader.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows the Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. We're off to a chilly start again for your Wednesday. Plan to see some areas of patchy fog and some frost for the morning start. Into the afternoon, mainly sunny skies. Great day to be outdoors. Highs in the low 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it comes to your sewer, what goes down must come out. Get a detailed video inspection absolutely free with any sewer drain cleaning, and keep life flowing in the right direction. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino, and the primetime football giveaway, it's back. They're giving away a total of $500 for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento, with plenty of well-lit parking and some of the best food in a friendly environment. For more information on tournaments and gaming, please log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. As always, 1-800 gambler.
Year-end pricing is in effect on every vehicle on the lot. Hurry to Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During Happy Honda Days, take advantage of our best offers of the year on our best selection of the year. Drive a new 2022 Honda Accord and get low lease or finance rates when you come in today. Plus, get top dollar for your trade-in. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Ooh, there's nothing worse than being cold and uncomfortable in your own home. Make sure you and your family are able to enjoy the holidays this winter. At American Energy Heat and Air, we want to make sure your furnace is running safely and efficiently during these cold months. For only $49, take advantage of the 30-point tune-up today. Proudly servicing the community since 1981, American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Book your tune-up today for only $49. Call 916-520-9990 or visit them at AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts in Central New York, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at BofA.com/Central New York. Bank of America NA, member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Your home for the most comprehensive 49ers coverage. Debo, Bosa, to our very own Armstead. The 49ers Authority. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Your local sports leader.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. It's Sactown Sports 1140. Sactown Sports headlines.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, I'm Jay Mars. It was an ugly night for the Kings in Philadelphia as they fell to the Sixers and lost their third of 4 games on the current Eastern Conference road trip.
Sixers got the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
The Kings got another efficient game from Domantas Sabonis, who scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting, chipping in 10 rebounds and 5 assists. The Kings look to get back on the winning track tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. Coverage begins with game night at 3 p.m. on Sactown Sports. The Giants finally landed their marquee free agent, agreeing to a 13-year, $350 million deal with shortstop Carlos Correa. The 27-year-old two-time All-Star batted .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBI last season with the Minnesota Twins. The $350 million exceeds the $341 million shortstop Francisco Lindor received from the New York Mets, and the $340 million for shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres. 49ers fans can breathe a sigh of relief as head coach Kyle Shanahan expects wideout Deebo Samuel back before the end of the regular season, saying he will be back in 3-ish weeks. Those are your headlines. Back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
Jay, hey, my headset's
Text or call the show at 916-339-1140. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports 1140.
Scott Marsh in today with Jay Mars. Hope you're having a very good Wednesday morning so far. We'll take you until 9 o'clock. We're going to get into some more Kings conversation here. Kayte Christensen, of course, the TV analyst for the Kings, will be joining us any second now. We look forward to talking to her. Kings and Raptors tonight, the second night of the back-to-back for Sacramento, coming off the 123-103 loss last night in Philadelphia. Quick turnaround for everybody, including you, Kayte. Thank you so much for joining us today. No Dave for you. I have to, I guess, apologize. Maybe you're thankful for that. I'm not sure, Kayte. But anyways, it's good to talk to you. And how are you holding up? This was a quick turnaround.
Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, this is, you kind of get used to this kind of on the road. And this is a tough road trip. This is a brutal travel trip. And we got into Canada last night and went through customs and got to the hotel and I've got about 5 hours of sleep under my belt, so that is not bad.
Well, we appreciate you making the time for us. What's your sense of the trip? Obviously, it's 1-3. Great win in Cleveland. The great closeout. Has it been so great on Sunday in New York? And certainly yesterday wasn't great either. Do you just take it's a tough road trip, or is there something more to it right now?
No, I mean, it's a tough road trip. I said it on the broadcast last night. This road trip is like going through, the defensive gauntlet. It's wild how good the teams are that the Kings are playing in terms of, their defense kind of being their staple. You look at the Bucks, Cleveland, I think, the Bucks number 1, Cleveland number 2. New York ranks, 11th overall in the season, but the last 5 games, they're the best defensive team in the league. You've got Toronto tonight, who is, that is their staple. They really muck up games. And so, the Kings are just kind of going through it a little bit right now. And then Philly is fantastic defensive team as well. I think ranked 4th overall. So you just kind of look at what you're facing, and the Kings have really, really struggled to create easy plays for each other. Their assists on this trip are just way, way down. I think ranking 30th in the league over the span, and they're one of the best teams in terms of creating assists and easy looks for each other. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. But also, I just feel like this team has kind of been rattled a little bit with injuries. De'Aaron finally came back last night. You've got Keegan Murray playing through a thumb injury that he's going to be dealing with for about the next 6 weeks. And Terrence Davis coming back, but not really being in a rhythm. It's just been one of those points in the season where everyone's getting a little bit kind of worn down. You're getting these little injuries that are starting to pile up, and you just got to take it for what it is, and you got to play the schedule. But I think that, if they can escape this trip with a 3-3 record, I think that would be a really successful trip considering the competition.
Kings color analyst Kayte Christensen joining us this morning from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Kayte, you want to go back to what you're saying about the offense kind of stagnating. How much of that do you attribute to De'Aaron Fox kind of playing with the hurt foot right now, which has really hampered his ability to get downhill and kind of just run that offense the way he normally does?
I think it's part of it, right? But it's not the entirety of it. You look at even kind of before he's been playing with us now for a while, for about a month. So sitting out those 2 games in Cleveland and New York, it gave him 5 days of rest. And yesterday it really looked like he had, a little bit more pep in his step, pardon the pun. But also I think that even before the Kings left on this road trip, they're going through a stretch right now where their shooting numbers aren't great, and you have to be able to attribute some of that to defenses, but also they're missing open shots that they were making more consistently early in the season. So I think it's just a combination of factors and kind of how the season will have its ebb and flows. And right now they're in this situation where they're getting some good looks, but they're not knocking them down. Those shots are going to start falling. They're going to figure it out. Kevin Huerter is going to figure out, how to be productive. His 3-point shooting numbers are down, but man, he's doing a great job of putting it on the deck and scoring either at the rim or in their mid-range and figuring out how to produce, even though teams are really, really, really focusing right now on how to run him off the line.
Yeah, no, great point. Kevin's under 25% from 3-point land on the trip. The team is just right around 30%. So definitely the shooting numbers have gone down a little bit. Kayte, I'm interested to hear your perspective on this because you played the center position when you were playing professional basketball. As you look at the Kings on this trip, I mean, great teams, granted, but the Kings have been exposed a little bit inside. And when Domas gets in foul trouble, it's really tough for them to compete defensively. What do you think, or do they need to do anything to bulk up what they have inside right now?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned, the center position, that you don't get a lot of that, especially these types of centers in the Western Conference. It's not quite the same. Even the way the game is played on the East is a bit different. And, when you look at Joel Embiid, he's just a monster in every way, shape, and form. I mean, he dropped a 53-piece the game before we faced him. So every team in this league has problems defending him because of his ability to get to the free throw line. But it's interesting that you mentioned kind of Domas and foul trouble, right? The Kings started 0-4 on this season, and in those games, he was in perpetual foul trouble. After the first 6 or 7 games, if memory serves, He kind of figured out how to abstain from some of those, reaching fouls and figure out a way to stay on the floor. But when he is not on the floor, it impacts the Kings just dramatically on both ends, right? Because he facilitates the majority of the offense. And when he's there, it makes it easier for everybody else. De'Aaron Fox has a much easier job of having offense created instead of having to create it for himself. Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk, you can go down the list of guys where it's just so much easier for them with Domas on the floor. So the foul trouble last night really hurt in terms of, 4 minutes, he picks up his second foul. And from there, you're just really struggling. So, I know everyone's going to start talking about trades and moves, and we're coming up on tomorrow being the December 15th deadline where guys can start to be moved depending on their contract. And, I think that the way you look at it every season is you're always trying to better your roster. But that's Monty McNair's, department. I'm so glad it is not mine. So I would expect that there would be, some moves made, but let's be realistic. Can you guys name backup centers in this league that would be, I don't feel like there's a long list of backup centers in this league that would be available, right?
No, the list is pretty thin.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going down the line and stretching it out to Nerlens Noel. That's kind of where we were at earlier in the show, Kayte.
Yeah, and I don't. That is not at all the answer, right?
Yeah.
Because the way that Domas plays, finding a backup center that can play like him when he is off the floor is non-existent. So you're going to have to go with someone, and it's a big question. I think everyone is really curious about Richaun Holmes because, he got a big contract. He's really not playing. He's fallen completely out of the rotation, and I don't know what's going to happen there. I think Alex Lynn would have been very valuable last night just because of his size and experience level. He stepped in big moments last year. The game in Denver really comes to mind where, he stepped in and was fantastic just because he has that experience and that size against big guys like Jokic. But yeah, it's not like there is a lot of multi-talented backup centers in this league that can even do a fraction of what Domas does.
Kayte, I want to go back to Richaun real quick because on paper he would be an ideal backup center with his size and athleticism. But as you pointed out, he cannot crack the rotation at all outside of, quote unquote garbage minutes. Is that just simply he does not fit with Mike Brown's offense, or is there other stuff out there as well that's keeping him from getting into the rotation?
It's a good question. I really felt like as soon as Tyrese Halliburton was traded to Indiana, that it really impacted, Richaun's game more than anybody, right? And then, of course, he was missing time anyway with all the things that he was going through off the court last season, which, on a personal level, I'm really happy for him that that's been resolved. And listen, I really like Richaun. He's handling this so incredibly well. The work that he continues to put in and to be ready, and just the positive attitude and practice, games, all of those things. He's handling it well. And I just think to a certain degree that because he is such a pick and roll kind of roll to the rim and a lob type threat, that it's difficult because the center right now is the one that is facilitating the offense versus it being facilitated for him. But he's a valuable piece. And for whatever reason, Mike Brown it doesn't work quite well in his system. So it's just about, fit for some players.
Tonight, Kayte, Toronto, obviously on the back-to-back, they've been there since Sunday. The Raptors are without Anunoby tonight, though. That's obviously a big loss for them. So how do you size things up tonight for the Kings?
Well, the Raptors are like pretty much every other team we played on this trip, right? Defense is their calling card. They really muck up the game. You've got Pascal Siakam, who is fantastic, and I think over the last 5 or 6 games, averaging over 25 a game. But if you can get him in foul trouble, that's really important. He's going to have to defend Domas, and Domas does so many different things, and this is a disadvantage for Pascal to have to go against Domas. So I'll see how the Kings kind of look to attack that matchup, because he plays over 35 minutes a game. And with their, you mentioned OG Anunoby and the injury to him, he's a big piece of their puzzle. So it should be interesting, because if the Kings can knock down even just a fraction more of their open looks, I think they're going to be in a really good position, because you do not look at this Raptors offense and say, wow, they're scorching hot. No, they muck up the game. A lot of their offense is created off of creating turnovers. And then on the other end, they do not turn the ball over. So they don't give you that option of using their offensive mistakes to create good looks for yourself and open looks in transition. So it's going to be another kind of game similar to the other ones we've seen on the strip.
Well, hopefully it fares better for the Kings, more like Cleveland than certainly New York and Philadelphia. Kayte, is always great stuff. Just curious, what's the weather like in Toronto? You'll be able to get outside at all today?
Well, I'm wearing leg warmers, if that's any indication. Yeah,
I guess no.
It's 1980 in Toronto right now. So
balmy. That's fantastic. Kayte, thank you so much. I appreciate you putting up with us without Dave here today. So.
Oh, you know what? It was an easy day today without Dave. So.
All right.
All right. You guys take care.
Have a great call tonight. That's Kayte Christensen. We love Kayte. She does a great job with the team, and we're so lucky to have her weekly here as a part of the Carmichael Day with Jason Ross show. When we come back, it's time to get into our Wine Wednesday. Jay, I just thought of mine. I think I've got a pretty good one.
I'm excited to hear it.
I can't wait to hear yours as well. All right, that and a lot more right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports 1140. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people that play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports 1140. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility, and Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality, and Safe Credit Union. Let us put you first.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram in Woodland. What's going on for Chrysler's Big Finish event?
We are finishing the year strong with $10,000 off MSRP on both the new 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs and Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Plus, no payments for 90 days. And when you come in, ask about our Hoblet exclusive 4.99% financing for 84 months.
Are you sure that's for both the Laramie and Bighorn?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. And it gets even better. Right now, you can save up to $2,500 off MSRP on the all-new 2023 Wrangler Unlimited 4xE, both Rubicon and Sahara. But you better hurry because the $7,500 federal tax credit ends December 31st.
Well, hurry in before the savings is gone. Search, select, and save through our whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period. 10,000 total net savings after 5,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discount on Laramie and 6,000 factory rebates and 4,000 dealer discount on Bighorn. Rebates may include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualify and up to $1,500 in Hoblet Ram coupons only while supplies last. Special 4.99% financing for 84 months on approved credit through Travis Credit Union. Must have 760 plus FICO score to qualify. $1,415 per $1,000 borrowed. 2,500 total net savings on Wrangler after $1,000 factory rebates and 1,500 dealer discount. 7,500 income tax credit offered by third party subject to change without notice. 10 and 8 savings. See dealer for details.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Text or call the show at 916-339-1140 on Sactown Sports 1140.
Welcome back into the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Scott Marsh in today. Jay Mars across the glass. Hopefully you are enjoying your morning so far. Our thanks again to Kayte Christensen. Great job as always breaking things down for us in Kingsland. It's time now for Wine Wednesday. For the love of wine, it's Wine Wednesday. Let's hear your wine of the week, brought to you by 23 Wines. All right, Jay, I've been thinking about this for a good 7 to 8 minutes now.
So
would you like me to go first?
I would love you to go first.
Actually, I've been thinking about it for a long time. I didn't know I was going to talk about it to the last 7 or 8 minutes, but it's appropriate for me because, of course, I work in college athletics, and I'm over with UC Davis. I'm very proud to be doing their play-by-play for the football and men's basketball games. And this is something that's been brewing for a while, but it's really come to the forefront now, especially the last couple of weeks with the end of football season. And it's the coaching carousel change, right? In the transfer portal and everything going on in the world of college sports. And I understand that the world of sports are changing, and certainly at the college level. But it's tough. It is just tough because you see schools like a UC Davis or a Sacramento State who's had a tremendous year, and you're so happy for them. And the Aggies went to the quarterfinals of the FCS playoffs back in 2018 under Dan Hawkins when he came to school. He's done a great job. And of course, what Troy Taylor did with the Hornets in his time there and the 3 playoff runs and all the great stuff that Sacramento's been able to celebrate with that. But, as soon as the season's over with, the coaches are gone.
Yep.
The players are gone.
Yep.
And I'm all pro player because I feel like for so long at the highest level, players have been exploited by the schools. And exploit might be a little strong word, but the college has been making a ton of money off these players. We know that, especially at the highest level, SEC, all that type of stuff. And coaches have been able to do whatever they've wanted to do forever, and they can leave on a moment's notice. And they recruit a kid, 3 weeks later they're gone, and the kid's been stuck there traditionally. So I'm a proponent of the transfer portal. I like that players can move, but it is tough. Case in point, you got Cameron Scadaboo over with the Hornets, their best running back. He's in the portal now. For UC Davis, their star tight end, McKellen Castles, is now going to Tennessee. Schools like UC Davis and Sacramento State, as great as schools as they are becoming feeder programs for the upper level schools. I mean, it's almost, I won't say a junior college level. I don't think that's respectful enough, but if you're a great player and you're kind of at the mid-major level,
non-Power 5 or an FCS school,
you're moving, and you're even seeing players move from the Power 5 schools to other schools. And it's like, players can not only move once, but they can move twice. They can move 3 times. In some respects, free agency in college athletics has become more than pro sports. It's almost harder to keep track of.
Yeah.
And it's tough, and again, I don't have a solution. I'm not even sure if I want a solution. I just wanted to whine about it.
Yeah, no, but it's a fair whine. And I thought about that too, especially when I saw the news that Cameron Scadaboo was going to be going into the transfer portal. And you saw Deion Sanders talk about it when, during his presser, when he took the Colorado job.
And of course, he's taking his son with him.
Yeah.
And he's going to bring probably 10 other players for that team.
He commented on the transfer portal like, oh my God, I'm looking at this and I can't wait to get my hands on some of these guys, which really kind of,
there's no tampering in the world of college.
Zero, right? And so it kind of accentuates your point, though, that basically a school like Sac State can put all the work in on a Cameron Scadaboo, or it's, a UC Davis is quite the other side, an FCS school, but those guys aren't going to be with you now for 3 years. So how does that impact your recruiting, knowing that your best players are likely staying with you for a season, maybe 2? I think that is really, again, I'm with you. I'm pro transfer portal.
Sure.
But there does need to be a little bit more regulation of that somehow. I don't have the answers or else I wouldn't be sitting here. But yeah, I agree with you completely. It's going to get to a point where it's going to make it hard for fans of these, lower division schools to really embrace and buy in every year when they don't know what they're getting.
No doubt. And you brought a great point with Deion Sanders, because everybody wants to play for Coach Prime, right?
And now that he's in Colorado, listen, this is a Power 5 school.
And the other thing about it too, now with the NIL money, right? I mean, schools are making, and schools aren't, it's not directly coming from athletic departments, but it's known that if players are moving, they're getting money as part of it now, right? I mean, that's part of the deal. Like, how much am I going to get to go to this school? So it's a totally different world. I'm not saying we're worse off for it, but it is tough. It
impacts people, and it impacts
no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Oh, may I whine about idiot fan in the stands?
Oh, please do.
This is one of my least favorite things to see come across the timeline, but last night a fan was ejected in the Warriors game.
Yes, Draymond Green, right?
Yeah, basically, according to Draymond Green, the fan in the stands threatened his life.
Yes. Now, I don't know if that is happened or not.
Sure. But I'm sure enough was said. If it's Draymond Green, who is more likely to go, back and forth with a fan as opposed to get them ejected, the fan would have to have said something very egregious if Draymond's pointing it out to be like, get this guy out of here.
Yes. And we don't know exactly.
No. Okay. But either way, I'm gonna err on the side of he said something he shouldn't have said.
I will agree with you. Absolutely.
And it's just to the point where I don't, and I've never comprehended this. You're sitting, if you're not sitting courtside, you're sitting close to courtside if a player can hear you. You have spent money on these tickets or have taken a generous gift from someone to sit there. What in the world makes you want to say something outlandish to a professional athlete to the point that you have to be escorted out of the building?
I do think we kind of know the answer to that one.
I mean, in the general sense, though, I understand.
What I mean is it's probably enhanced by what's been consumed.
Exactly.
Over the course of the game, right?
And it just still
I'll agree with you on that, but also, listen, I've been to the games before
It doesn't make it right.
and have had a couple drinks. I've never thought about disrespecting another grown man or woman for that matter because I've been liquored up.
You already have that mentality, and that's only,
exactly.
It's only happened. You're a jerk to begin with.
Yes,
and that's just brought it out to full light.
All it's done is fuel. It's added, you have a fire burning, and that is just a fuel to make it erupt. And it's just sad that people feel the need to make it a point to go at a player like that.
I 100% agree with you. And it's almost a sense of entitlement because if you're rich and famous and you've got this money, you feel like, you have a right to say whatever you want.
I paid for my ticket.
Right? Right. And of course you don't.
No.
Now it's all within reason. Like there was Robin Thicke who was famous for behind the bench heckling, right?
Heckling and
annoying, but I would consider it over the top. And like if fans want to boo Marvin Bagley when he comes back, or even Buddy Hield, which I didn't particularly love, that's okay. That's in a different stratosphere. But when you're talking about something like the Draymond Green situation, it's totally different.
Yeah, and we've seen this happen with LeBron, with people courtside just saying things that there's heckling, and I've been to enough NBA games where players have fun with hecklers.
Sure.
But when it gets to the point of, again, allegedly threatening someone's life, that's when it's just, no,
that's
you can't
when
do that.
Police need to interrupt, right?
Yes.
I agree with you. Good wine there. All right. When we come back, we may have a surprise guest. We may not. We're going to wait till the other side. That's the tease on this one. It'll be worth it if we can get him. And if not, we'll go into more Kings Raptors.
At the very least, we hope to wake him up.
At the minimum, we'll have more Kings conversation right here. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Log on to Sactown Sports' YouTube channel following every Kings game this season for the Sactown Sports Kings Recap. Carmichael Dave, Nick Cattles, Rami Makloff, and Chris Watkins interact with you directly after every Kings game all season long. Subscribe now and get notifications by searching for Sactown Sports on YouTube.
Kings get the victory, and the celebration continues
on Sactown Sports, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings.
Carmichael Dave here, letting you know when the housing market shifts quickly like it has the last few months, having the right mortgage company on your side is crucial in this ever-changing market. We've got just that lender. It's my guy Shelby at United Wholesale Lending. Now you can check them out at refinancewithshelby.com. They're fast, they're local, and competitive. Shelby's team, as I've told you for years, is well known in the real estate market from real estate agents, title companies, appraisal companies. United Wholesale Lending will even get your offer fully underwritten and approved upfront so you can compete with the cash offers. With the increase in inventory, the market has shifted from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Buyers now have the opportunity to shop for the home that's right for them instead of settling for what was available. You can always refi as soon as rates come down, or United Wholesale Lending has alternative loan options like a 2-1 buy down. RefinanceWithShelby.com. That's RefinanceWithShelby.com. NMLS number 279051. BRA number 01864354.
Maida Chevy saves you an extra $2,000 off factory sticker plus. Big factory rebates on almost every new Silverado half-ton in stock with 2.7-liter engine. Find big red tag savings at MaidaChevy.com. Find new roads.
Ends 1/3/23. Excludes ZR2 Trail Boss and Work Trucks.
Folks, there's been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's been getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. And he's off to the races. He might go all the way. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, touchdown. He did it, folks. He did it.
Regain and optimize your sexual performance, drug-free and surgery-free. The GainsWave treatment will help you get that bedroom touchdown. See what Dr. Dan Botha and his team at GainsWave can do for you. Visit GainsWaveCalgary.ca.
It's Kia's season of giving at Folsom Lake Kia right now. Give yourself the gift of a brand new Kia from Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted Kia dealership for over 20 years. FolsomLakeKia.com. That's FolsomLakeKia.com.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Elk Grove Honda, new Hondas are arriving on a steady basis. Accords, Civics, CRVs, and more. And Elk Grove Honda's pre-owned inventory is as large as it's ever been. Find the Honda you're looking for at Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovehonda.com.
Stimulant use disorder is a disease, not a choice. But getting help is. Make a change by choosing treatment for your meth or cocaine addiction. Find proven treatment options at choosechangeca.org.
Tune in every Wednesday to the Carmichael Dave with Jason Ross show for Wine Wednesday, where they whine about plays, calls, everything from the past week in sports. Wine Wednesday, brought to you by E2 Family Winery.
Have you heard the news? New Hondas are back at Capital City Honda, including the all-new redesigned 2023 CRV and HRV. Stop by today or visit us at capcityhonda.com and see our new car inventory with no dealer markup. Have a car to sell or trade? We're paying top dollar for any make and model. Cap City Freeway at the Fulton Avenue exit by the Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. capcityhonda.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join the Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. Win tickets to see the Polar Express at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Time to check out Coastside Medical Clinic, who's dedicated to providing breakthrough remedies for men.
Sactown Sports headlines.
With your Sactown Sports headlines, I'm Jay Mars. It was an ugly night for the Kings in Philadelphia as they fell to the Sixers and lost their third of 4 games on the current Eastern Conference road trip.
Sixers get the rebound, and for the 8th consecutive time, Philadelphia has defeated the Sacramento Kings. The final margin is 20 points. The final score is 123 to 103. Not a lot to be excited about if you're a Sacramento Kings fan tonight.
The Kings got another efficient game from Domantas Sabonis, who scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting, chipping in 10 rebounds and 5 assists. The Kings look to get back on the winning track tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. Coverage begins with game night at 3 p.m. on Sactown Sports. The Giants finally landed their marquee free agent, agreeing to a 13-year, $350 million deal with shortstop Carlos Correa. The 27-year-old two-time All-Star batted .291 with 22 home runs and 64 RBI last season with the Minnesota Twins. The $350 million exceeds the $341 million shortstop Francisco Lindor received from the New York Mets, and the $340 million for shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. with the San Diego Padres. 49ers fans can breathe a sigh of relief as head coach Kyle Shanahan expects wideout Deebo Samuel back before the end of the regular season, saying he will be back in 3-ish weeks. Those are your headlines. Back to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Got a take? Make sure it's a hot one.
Take a shot right now.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports, 1140.
Welcome back into the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Scott Marsh with you. Jay Mars across the way. Having a lot of fun. It's good to sit in here. I'm sure Dave will be back tomorrow. We hope Jason will be back as soon as possible as well. We're with you until 9 o'clock today. Jim Rome coming up after that. Of course, later on today, double duty for yours truly. Kings game day at 3 o'clock. Kings and Raptors later on tonight. Sacramento trying to even out the road trip at 2 and 2. We are hoping to have our special guest, Jay.
He's not answering.
No? Snooze machine?
Like I said, hopefully I woke him up.
All right. We won't rat it out. We'll just let that one slide. You can try a time or two more. We'll see if we can get to it, because if we got this guest, I promise it would be well worth it, but we don't want to spend too much time talking about nothing. So
we're teasing you to something you'll never get. It's always good radio.
If you tease too much, you just become a tease. That's the problem.
Hey, now.
Nobody wants that. So, all right. So Kings and Raptors tonight. Why don't we do our 3 in the key?
All right. We can get into that right now. All right. So, Scott, have you ever played 3 in the key?
Not on this show, no.
Okay, well, basically what it is we're going to ask 3 questions about tonight's game, or predictions, more or less. So, and then, we usually recap them tomorrow, so me and Dave will have to recap mine and your answers.
Okay.
For tonight's game against the Raptors.
I'm actually being put on the record.
You're being put on the record, and we will see which one of us either gets it exactly correct.
But the good part is, I won't be here tomorrow.
No, you won't.
So I could say anything, and it really doesn't matter.
Let's knock on wood. Let's not put out proclamations like I won't be here tomorrow a little too fast.
Okay, yeah, no, that's true.
Given the way things have moved. All right, tonight, give me
total points, assists, and rebounds for Domantas Sabonis.
Wow, that's probably the most consistent prediction you can make, right? Because it's usually 20, 10, and 5. So if that's your baseline, Domas tonight, I'll go 24, 7, and 6.
7 rebounds and 6 assists?
Yes.
All right. I think Domas is going to have some fun tonight, especially when it comes to passing the ball. I have him at 19 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. We'll get a triple-double tonight.
I like it. A second triple-double as a King.
Out of Domantas Sabonis.
Okay. I like it.
Made 3-pointers for Kevin Huerter.
Ooh, that's a tough one right now because if we've got into Huerter's been struggling from beyond the arc.
I'm sure shoot around helped with that this morning.
Yes, no, he worked out all the kinks that shoot around earlier today. Very good point. But he's hovering right around 25% recently from the arc. Now, of course, he was second in the league, 52% before that early in the year. I think he breaks out tonight. I'm going to go 4 3-pointers tonight for Huerter.
All right. I'm going to go with 3. So I think we're both in the right ballpark there, but I'm
trending up.
And I think if he hits 3 of them on 6 attempts, that is
that would
good.
work.
Even if it's on 7 attempts at this point, I would take that.
That's a good percentage either way.
All right, and then give me the final score and the winner of tonight's game.
Okay. This is one I'm going out on a limb a little bit. I feel like the Kings are going to play well tonight. That's just my personal feeling on this one. I say Kings 108, Raptors 102. I'm going to give the Kings the win tonight.
Okay.
It'll be the second time they win scoring under 110 points.
I think the Kings will play better tonight. However, the second night of that back-to-back, they're going to run out of gas in the fourth quarter. I have it Toronto 120, Sacramento 114.
Okay. High-scoring game, relatively speaking. Not that high-scoring a game in today's NBA world.
That's good defense if you give up only 114 points.
That's true. That's a good point.
Jeez. All right. Want to do Kings trivia?
Let's go for it.
Okay. Call in right now, 916. I almost said the wrong number. 916-339-1140. Sometimes you get brain farts on old phone numbers. That almost just happened. 916-339-1140. Lines are open right now.
I was going to say, who even knows a phone number anymore, right? I used to have so many phone numbers memorized, and now
the only reason we remember them is because they have to put them on big pieces of paper in front of us in these studios. So again, 916-339-1140 at Kings Trivia right now to go see them take on the Wizards December 23rd. I got a question. I think this is a pretty easy question.
Okay.
Line 1, good morning. What's your name? Hello. Oh, hold on. I got to hit the button, huh?
I'll turn it on for you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good. I'm glad we exchanged those pleasantries so early on. All right. Kings Trivia. This is not going to be something that is super hard, but you got to pay close attention to what I'm saying. All right.
Okay.
Currently on the Kings roster, not including two-way players, they have 3 players that they drafted. Name them.
Aaron Fox.
Yep.
Keegan Murray.
Uh-huh.
And let me third one, Stephanie out.
3, 2,
2 or 3. No,
1.
so close. Oh, so close.
Let's go to line 2.
Yeah, let's take line 2. There we go.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. Thank you.
Good. All right. Kings Trivia. Do you need the question told to you again?
Yes.
All right. So on the Kings current roster, not including two-way players, they only have 3 players that they drafted. Who are they?
That the Kings drafted is De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, and Davion Mitchell.
Yes.
Way to go.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
It's a Wednesday. I didn't want to make it too hard on people, but it's a good thing you know good thing you know the roster up and down.
For sure.
I will take it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. You got yourself a pair of tickets to see the Kings take on the Wizards Friday, December 23rd, Golden One Center. Hold the line for us, and we'll get your info here in just a little bit. Thank you for playing.
Very nice.
Wow, I thought that would be guessed on the first try.
I didn't think it was very tough. I'll be honest with you. That seemed like a softball.
It was.
It was a cupcake.
I'm literally softballing it out there. There's only, what's amazing though about all of that is going through that roster to understand that there's only 3 guys the Kings have drafted on there. Only 2 of them are Monte McNair picks. De'Aaron Fox is the only remaining holdover from the Vlade Divac era.
That is amazing, isn't it?
It really seemed like, and by holdover, I mean guys that he drafted,
Sure,
because I mean he obviously traded for Harrison Barnes, signed
Correct.
Rashawn Holmes.
Yes.
But I mean, those are really just, it's interesting. It seemed like it took Monty McNair a long time to remake this roster, but what he finally has put his imprint on it in year 3, and it's definitely showing.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And obviously, we're not going to backtrack on the Vlade.
No, of course not. It was just more like looking back at it,
Sure.
seeing where this team was at
But
right now today versus where they are at when Monty McNair took over.
no doubt. It's a completely different deal for sure. And Monty's done a great job, honestly.
Monty has done a great job. We had Sam Amick, that is, on last week. He thinks Monty McNair is definitely, it's that time to get that extension
Where's the
signed.
contract?
And that's the big thing, right? Is you have all of this goodwill, but I think the one thing that would really, if you want to get, obviously the fan base is reinvigorated, so to speak, but if you really want to get things going and show that sign that, hey, things are turning around in the sense of we have continuity for the first time in a long time, I think you extend him to match him up with Mike Brown's deal, because if not, you're going to be going in with a new GM next year with a head coach he didn't pick. We've seen that process before, Scott, and it doesn't work out great.
No, it doesn't. And to your point, Mike Brown's not going anywhere.
No.
Anytime soon. Monty McNair's done a great job. It feels like it's time to reward him for that. Obviously, there's some work to be done. This is not a completed Kings lineup by any means. And it'll be interesting to see what happens now. As Katie pointed out, tomorrow is kind of the first day where things can start moving and shaking. And you've got the trade deadline coming up in February, and the Kings are playing the long game, not the short game. So it may not be a lot, but it'll be interesting to see. But first moves, I mean, Monty McNair has proven he's got an eye for talent in the draft.
He does. He has an eye for talent, and he's the thing that was even crazier about having the eye for talent. He's not afraid to trade the talent very early on, as we saw with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
Obviously, Keegan Murray is his pick. Davion Mitchell is his pick. But more importantly, and it's, when you look at this roster and you look at how to tinker it, Monty McNair is a Daryl Morey disciple.
Yes.
Meaning, if he sees talent out there that is available that he feels will upgrade his roster, he is going to be very aggressive in making those moves. Now, he's not going to make a move to make a move. He's very strategic, as we've seen. But I am calling my shot right now. This team will look different after the trade deadline.
I think there's going to be a couple moves too. I don't know how different it'll look, but I think it'll definitely have a different lineup once we get past mid-February. I would agree with that.
Yep.
All right. That's going to do it for Kings Trivia. Congratulations again. And we'll do that again more often on this show. When we come back, some news and notes to wrap things up right here. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Hey, Kings fans, you got questions? We got answers. Send all your Kings questions to kingsmailbag@sacktownsports.com and have them answered by the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross and Cattles and Rami during our Kings Mailbag segment every Friday on Sactown Sports' YouTube channel.
Subscribe today by searching Sactown Sports on YouTube.
The only place to get wall-to-wall Kings coverage in the 916, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Campride is holding their biggest sale of the year. Save big on quality camping gear and equipment. All new in-stock sleeping bags, camp chairs, cots, pantries, and other items up to 50% off. Deeper discounts on select open box items as well. Sale starts Monday, December 5th and runs through December 22nd. Visit them Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Located at 8615 23rd Avenue in Sacramento, or call 916-383-9460. Campride's end of the year closeout sale is on now.
ATM Mortgage. When times get tough, you need a lender that gets even tougher. Hi, Jeff Tarbell with ATM Mortgage. We can still show you an affordable path to home ownership, and all you have to do is call 916-338-9400. That's 338-9400, or online at atmmortgage.net. ATM Mortgage. License under California CFL and MLS 223-4889.
Hey, did you get that proposal done?
It can wait till tomorrow.
Some things can wait.
Should we book those flights to see your folks?
We can do it later.
But untreated COVID isn't one of them. If you're 50 or older or have a chronic condition, COVID can be deadly. Got COVID symptoms?
Talk to a doctor and get treatment right away, because it just can't wait. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 4, 2:18 a.m. I've been camping outside the Harrington house for 4 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. Mr. Harrington says I don't need to do this since Progressive protects 24/7 is a pretty easy concept to grasp, but I'm going to stay and prove my point. Besides, there's a big tree branch over the roof, and I think it's planning something.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, curbside pickup, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
I'm Craig Ashton with the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. It may sound contradictory for a personal injury firm to wish you a safe holiday season, but we at Ashton & Price wish that no one has to suffer an injury in an automobile collision. But if you're an accident injury victim, you can lean on Ashton & Price to do all the legal legwork and introduce you to the best medical care providers in the area. So during this holiday season, you can focus on your health and your family. So from all of us at Ashton & Price, we advise you to have the happiest and safest of holidays.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, is also Northern California's #1 Honda certified pre-owned vehicle dealer.
Come see our amazing selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. We have something for everyone. Don't shop dealer to dealer trying to find the perfect used car. Stockton Honda has the selection, financing, and savings you want. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
One claim based on 2021 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own one report.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot.
And what's not?
It's not good.
Brought to you by American Energy Air and Solar, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
All right, who's hot? Damian Lillard last night. 11 3-pointers against the Timberwolves, matched his regular season career high. Here's the crazy part, though. He drained all 11 before sitting out the fourth.
Yes.
Tied for the second most through 3 quarters in the three-point era. Only Klay Thompson at 14 had more.
Right. And I believe Curry's got 12.
Yeah.
I read that stat, right? That was Monday night's game, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. 11 threes. You know, Dame time. He's back. Obviously, he's one of the best players in the league. Fun to watch. And just think, what would he have had? 15, 16 if he had played the fourth?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, there was a lot of speculation in the offseason that,
he's going to be traded.
Or with the injury, he's slowing down. Dare I say the demise of Damian Lillard was greatly exaggerated.
In that backcourt with him and Anthony Simons, everybody thought when McCullough was traded that that was really going to hurt the Blazers. Simons is maybe better, right? That kid's electric.
Right now, and also way cheaper of a contract and a guy you can build around for a
They
while.
signed Simons to a huge contract.
Well, yeah, but his deal in comparison to McCollum, I believe McCollum's still making more per.
Okay, he might be, but Simons got triple.
Oh no, Simons got paid.
Yes.
I don't want to say Simons is out there on a rookie deal.
I understand you're just I can't discount $100 million.
No, I understand that too. You know who's not hot?
Who?
Chris Paul, since turning 37 years of age. Since turning 37, Chris Paul is averaging 10 points per game on 39% shooting from the field, 34% from three. His overall plus minus is minus 26, and Phoenix has an 8-11 record since that birthday.
Yeah, it's not good. Is it father time or is it just coincidence?
It's hard to say. You know, we talked about earlier how Jekyll and Hyde that Phoenix Suns team is. I mean, if I'm just guessing here, which is what I'm doing, I'm not in the Suns locker room, shockingly. I would imagine it's a little bit of father time combined with just a little bit the overall atmosphere in Phoenix, if that makes sense. As good as this team's been, it definitely doesn't seem like there's a lot of harmony there.
Well, it's interesting because, Ayton, they had to re-sign him after not offering him the qualifying. Him and Monty Williams weren't even talking. Ayton's playing fine right now, so I don't know if there's any leftovers of that, but the cloud with Robert Sarver and what's going on with the team is going to be, it's going to be sold, but when and how and all those types of things.
Devin Booker's hurt.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff there. And Booker proved he could play the point with Paul out, too.
Yeah, and don't forget, Jay Crowder is still on that roster, and he hasn't played a game this season for them basically because he was told he wasn't going to be starting. And so he was a big part of that squad last year. You don't have that element now. Yeah, just a lot of weird stuff happening in Phoenix.
The vibe's not as good right now for sure.
All right, let's get to some news and notes.
Okay.
Stand by on this frequency. It's time for the news of the day.
Thank you for ruining the show and dropping a steamer on my journalistic integrity.
Today's important headlines, intelligent analysis, hard-hitting interviews.
Yeah, this is none of those things.
Here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Oh my God, I love those guys.
So, going around the world of baseball, there has been a lot of deals out there. Big money.
Yes.
But with all the big money deals thrown out there and the contracts that have been given out to star players, there is one name trending this morning in the baseball world on Twitter. Care to guess? I asked that saying you'll never guess.
Tell me then.
Mr. July 1st, Bobby Bonilla.
Oh, yes.
It is not Bobby Bonilla Day.
I was going to say the gift that never stops giving.
No, absolutely not. Speaking of which, so he's trending for two reasons.
Okay.
Number one is, do you remember Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles?
I do, actually.
Chris Davis, power hitter.
Big-time power hitter.
Signed that large contract and then literally, physically could not hit a baseball anymore.
Yes.
Well, he is starting his deferred payments next year.
Oh, okay.
For a 15-year period. Now, that's not as long as
lifetime,
Bobby.
No. It's not in perpetuity.
But this is pretty damn good if you're Chris Davis. So here's the details. From 2023 to 2025, he will receive a $9.16 million check.
Per year?
Per year.
Holy smokes.
From 26 to 32, he'll receive a $3.5 million paycheck per year. And from 2033 to 2037, a $1.4 million paycheck per year, totaling out to $42 million over 15 years.
I want to know how that calculates out per home run he hit.
Oh, God.
If you take the lifetime money he made per home run.
Well, let's get even more gross. Let's say the per home run of his last 3 or 4 seasons.
Exactly.
Because there wasn't a lot of them.
No.
Congratulations to Chris Davis. Speaking of Bobby Bonilla,
yes,
it's funny because, those deferred contracts and those deferred payments, they last a very, very long time. Do you know that he will still have 4 years left of deferred payments when Aaron Judge's 9-year deal is up?
Oh, Bobby Bonilla. Jeez.
And so think about this. If that's the case, do some math there. The Giants just signed Carlos Correa to a 13-year deal. That means that Carlos Correa, at 40 years old, by the way, will be in the final year of his contract the same year that Bobby Bonilla gets his final deferred payment.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. I mean, Magic Johnson was kind of the first one to sign one of those contracts, 25-year, $25 million deals. Bonilla took it to a totally different level.
No, he really did. And it's still, to me, the greatest contract in the history of sports. To go ahead and get that kind of money that late in life, to do nothing. And the thing about it was, it's even better that it's the Mets paying Bobby Bonilla just because his stints there were not eventful.
They were not good. It's the ultimate retirement plan.
It really is. No, and I wonder if any other players have thought about that as an actual negotiation tactic, not in the sense of it's not a buyout anymore, but hey, I want deferred payments at this point. It's interesting when it comes to contracts because you saw a lot of guys, and the big one that stood out was Odell Beckham, who guys were getting paid in cryptocurrency.
Yes.
And dude, what did you say? I forget the number, but Odell lost millions because he decided to get paid that way.
Yes.
So I think the deferred payment or the standard contract still the way to go.
I like the idea.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, that's one thing to look out for. As far as other notes, you want to do some celebrity birthdays here before we just kind of wrap up?
We got to do it in Jason's honor.
We do. Offset from Migos turned 30 years old today. I was actually supposed to ask you how old he was and not tell you. But I knew you knew anyways that Migos Offset was 30, so I figured, I'm like, why even ask him? Actress Vanessa Hudgens turned how old today, Scott Marsh?
No idea on that one.
Just throw a guess
give
out
me
there.
that one and let me warm into this
Okay,
one.
Vanessa Hudgens, 33 years old.
All right.
Oh, Kourtney Kardashian's oldest son, Mason, turned how old today?
Oh, my God. I am terrible at this game. I don't know the Kardashians. I have no idea who he is. So.
That's her youngest or her oldest son. He is 12.
12, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is a pretty crappy batch of
I was going to say,
celebrity
I'm not
birthdays.
even recognizing names. I got to be honest with you.
No, well, you'll recognize this name, and this is the last one we'll ask because again, this is not a good day for celebrity birthdays. DK Metcalf of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I think you've heard of him.
I
at
have
least.
heard it. Yes, you brought it back to my world here. I'm going to say he's 27.
Close.
28.
DK Metcalf is only 24.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize
Yeah.
he was that young. He seems like he's been in the league forever.
Oh, it does though, but man, DK Metcalf only being 24. If you're the Seattle Seahawks, you like to know that guy's going to be around for a long time.
No doubt. Don't take me to the state fair, please.
I will not take you to the state fair.
I will lose you a lot of money.
Yeah,
on
no.
birthday guessing.
No, do they do that with the horses? That'd be great.
I don't know about the horses, but I remember being at the fair and somebody predicted my age within 2 years.
Wow,
yeah, it was fun, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got for you from news and notes and celebrity birthdays. I got about 3 minutes on the show. I'm going to leave this up to you.
We got to go back Kings Raptors.
Okay.
Obviously, it's the game tonight. Sacramento, can't call it a pivotal game, obviously, but it'd be nice to see the Kings rebound because it's been subpar efforts.
Literally
New
and
York.
figuratively.
Yes. They need to get some rebounds. And if they don't get some rebounds, they're not going to rebound because Toronto, again, another good defensive team. We learned that throughout the program today. It's not do or die time by any stretch. If they lose both of these games in Detroit on Friday as well, they're 14-14, come back home. That's fine. They've got a great schedule for the remainder of the year at home. I mean, they're at home a lot between the 19th and through New Year's. I mean, they've got a ton of games and a chance to make up that ground. But having said that, it's about setting the standard, right? The Kings have kind of set this standard of excellence and winning record at home, 500 record on the road. That's a recipe for a very good NBA team. Right now, 6-8, it's slid away a little bit on the road. But if they could somehow win tonight and Friday to get back to 500, then you're feeling absolutely fantastic about it. We're not even remotely thinking about what happened in Milwaukee, New York, or Philadelphia.
No, and you come home 500. Now you got a 6-game homestand you're looking at ahead. And it's not the hardest schedule in the league. You know, you come back, you have Charlotte on the 19th, the Lakers on the 21st, and then you go back-to-backs with Denver, 27-28. That's going to be the real tough stretch.
And then Utah on the 30th.
Yeah, so and
the
Washington
Wizards are there on the
and the
23rd.
Wizards are there on the 23rd. So there's some very winnable games at home for the Kings. You go 4-6, 5-1 there, you're feeling really good.
And I do feel like the most basic thing has started for the Kings, and that's establishing a home court advantage.
Yes.
They have that now. You know, they've won 8 of their last 9. This is legit. It's not just a fad. And so they've got a chance to go 4-2, 5-1 on this homestand.
Yeah, and you look at and we keep pounding the home court advantage because for so many years, even when the team was not good, the home court advantage, the Kings always played pretty well at home. It was just the road that they could not win basketball games.
But we've seen some pretty lousy performances over the years.
That's what I mean. Over the last, I would say 5 or 6, I mean, coinciding with the opening of Golden One Center.
I was going to say there hasn't been a home court advantage at Golden One Center. I mean, right now they have one, the beam, everything else. It's a great vibe out there.
No, I went to the game against Detroit a couple weeks ago, took my son. And for a Sunday afternoon game against a, sweller or, a cellar dweller in the Eastern Conference, that place was electric. It had a playoff atmosphere come the fourth quarter. The chance of light the beam with 7 minutes left. Like, it was outstanding. And to your point, I think this is the first time they've actually held a home court advantage since Golden One Center opened, even going back to the last few years at Arco.
I agree with that. I feel like this is the first year they've really have made Golden One Center their true home.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to do it for this program. been great filling in for Carmichael Dave. He'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully Jason Ross will as well.
Oh, Jason.
I know. I feel so bad.
Jason needs a hug. Please keep Jason in your prayers.
The last thing he wants right now is a hug.
No. Oh, that's true. As someone who's had kidney stones, I should have known that.
He doesn't want that.
Just a gentle pat on the head.
Yeah. All right. Coming up next, the Jim Rope Show. Later on today, Kings basketball right here on Sactown.
You're back for that, aren't you?
I am 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
People are getting sick of me.
You're working today, Scott Marsh.
I'm sick of myself. That's how bad it's gotten. All right, Kings basketball later on. Have a great day, everyone, right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is in